We are recording, and the subject is donuts.
No, okay, hang on. The subject isn't donut. Bryan just said some donuts have meat on them, and that's debatable. Bryan, what kind of fucking born in the USA shit is that?
Okay, do you like bacon and maple syrup?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like that condensed into a donut form?
He's got me. I do actually eat that sometimes. There is a place in Dublin, the Rolling Donut, that will sell you.
So you've literally had this donut.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Bryan has exposed the hypocrisy within me.
Like
I am
instantly.
born naked to the world. You got me, Bryan. You fucking destroyed me on this one.
You eat meat on your donut, on your pastry. Well, I guess
But
jam-ons and stuff like that.
yeah.
If
It's common to have meat in a pastry.
If someone was like, "Would you like some sausage on your donut?" I'd be like, "Get the fuck away from me!" Like so fast.
We've had bacon in our milkshakes, John.
It's different. It's different.
Niamh, would you rather have a bacon donut or a bacon milkshake?
Oh, donut for sure. Definitely not a
Little
milkshake.
bacon bits in your milkshake.
No, I don't
Get
even
some
like
Kinder
milkshakes.
Bueno. Oh, you don't like cold
Yeah,
drinks.
it's too cold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
But that has to be it. Like, that is the last. There's no more meat. Like, there's no steak donut.
Chicken and beef would not go in a donut, and I wouldn't even fucking consider fish.
You
in
do
this
chicken
argument.
and waffles, so
Okay,
you
I
could
get,
do
I
chicken
know, I
and
get
donuts.
pissed off with chickens and waffles.
John, chicken and waffles are fucking brilliant.
Okay, so hang on. When we say this, because in Ireland, I feel like we grew up with potato waffles.
Yeah.
Is that not what we're talking
No,
about?
no.
So
These
chicken
are
waffles
sweet
and
waffles.
maple syrup.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
For so long.
But
like, yeah.
we had it when we were that time in Toronto. We had brunch and I got chicken and waffles and I made interesting smells all day. I had a great
Oh
time.
my god. American waffles are sweet waffles, but we grew up with like just frozen potato waffles.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're savory or
Yeah.
kind of stodgy. You know, they're
They're wet.
I don't really know why
Yeah.
they exist.
No, I don't think people eat them anymore.
I don't think so. And good.
Yeah.
Good.
I do because they fit in the freezer neat.
Bryan, don't eat those.
Brian,
Bird's eye.
that's the worst reason to eat anything I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's why I get
They
microwave
can
popcorn.
stack.
Yeah, they stack.
Microwave popcorn's good.
Okay, I don't know. Do you like crinkle cut chips or regular chips?
I don't really like chips.
Oh yeah, he does. Okay, so Americans were talking about French fries. We call them chips here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Willie thought that was very cute.
Just chips.
I felt so condescended to.
Yeah.
And then
It's not cute, it's normal.
and then I guess the potato snack chips are called crisps here.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't understand that is the context.
Yeah. And also now, if we've said crisps on a previous podcast, you can go back to our entire back catalogue and it'll make sense.
Yeah. Also, if you're listening to this episode and this is your first episode, stop, go back, start from the beginning.
Up. Episode 32, young man and or woman.
You got to start where it matters, where it began. Where
Yeah, you're gonna miss all the jokes, all the references, all the deep lore cuts.
Yeah.
What's your favorite piece of Boss Cast lore?
Crunchy Nut Cthulhu.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was very
That
good.
was. a
That's
good
when
one.
we talked about our favorite cereals.
Yeah.
Now, but I do want to talk about, do you like crinkle cut chips or regular chips, or do you like chunky chips or skinny chips? What kind of chips we talking?
Okay. You take those little chips.
The skinny ones.
Yep. Curl them son bitches up. Curly fries. That's what we're talking.
You like curlies.
Oh yeah, get some curlies, dip it in McFlurry. Great shit.
I really like the crisscross ones. They're kind of like waffles as well, but they're called like lattices.
But I feel like whenever I've ordered them at like a fast food place, you get like 6. And it's like, motherfucker, I can tell how many actual chips should be in this, and it's not 6.
I just like some skin on chips.
Yeah.
Good chunky chips.
I recently found out about beef dripping fries, and they're
What?
like triple cooked chips. But in one of them, they're cooked in beef fat from a steak, and they are no longer vegetables.
That's just a new kind of animal. Yeah. Wow. I'm intrigued.
Just something to think about this Christmas, you know, because for you, it is your destiny upon Santa to wish upon a star to be who you want to be.
I feel like I'm having a seizure. What was
Yeah,
that
what the
sentence?
fuck?
It's the kind of of quality shit that people tune into this podcast for. Welcome to the Let's Fight a Boss video game podcast. The world's, Bryan,
strongest
video game podcast. I am sitting here with two of the crinkliest curly fries you'll ever pick up at your local Mickey D's. To my left, it's the Filet fish. It's Bryan.
I don't want to be a weird stinky sponge. I am quadruple cooked for your crispy pleasure.
To my right, it is the last bacon cheeseburger you'll ever have. It's Niamh.
Hello. I love if your bacon cheeseburgers is like, hello.
Hello. Whoa there, buddy. Please don't do this.
You hold me in your hands as you die.
Ingest me so I can become part of you forever.
I will flow through your veins. John, who are you?
With you always, cooking up them real soggy fries. It's the Johnster.
Johnster, soggy biscuit.
You know the way sometimes when I play as Ness in Smash Bros, I call myself the Loch Ness Monster.
Sure.
I changed it recently, so it's the Loch Ness Johnster. I'm thinking of leaning into the Johnster more. What do you guys think?
Well, it's kind of like the Joker, and it's 2021.
Yeah,
it's always an
I
opportunity.
am a big fan of the Joker,
You
but
couldn't be worse.
specifically Jared Leto's depiction of the Joker and nothing else.
Of course.
Yeah.
Couldn't be worse than Super Eye Patch Wolf, so let's go with Loch Ness Johnster.
Yeah.
I hope Halo fucking sucks.
So we're not going to talk about Halo, but this is the last regular scheduled episode for the year, except for at the end of December when we do Game of the Year, and that will be divided into a pre-show and a main show.
I was thinking of, I have a new name for our Game of the Year.
Okay.
The Game Awards.
Yeah, no one's using that.
I think that's pretty good, right?
It can just be this 2-hour marketing epidemic. It'll be great.
Oh, I got actually better. What about Jeff Keighley's The Game Awards?
Can I be Jeff?
Who else was going to play Jeff, Niamh?
I don't know.
Exactly.
You can be Jeff Shoes.
Happily.
I'm going to be whatever shaving appliance is sponsoring an award this year.
Cool. Perfect. Oh my god, I forgot about that. You see them Game of the Year nominees?
Yeah. I know, like, I'm not really interested in tuning in for the awards. I'll read the headlines afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just more curious about if there's any announcements. There's no Smash announcements anymore, which is unfortunate. I always kind of enjoyed those.
I love staying up to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's mad.
I bet they are. They're gamers. They're not happy.
I'm really looking forward to watching some internet personalities I like talk about it. Or talk over it, even.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
I wonder who, like, the YouTube personality is. They always have a gaming YouTube.
Well, I didn't want to say anything.
It's Boogie again.
I can't believe Boogie won. And like that was during his like peak internet nice guy years, and now it's just like completely turned on its head. Like,
what about Tobuscus? Is he doing anything?
I have no idea. I don't know what that is. Is it better not to know?
Absolutely. If I ever say a YouTuber and you don't know who they are, but maybe you like heard their name like 6 years ago, absolutely better not to know.
Excellent, yeah.
Yeah, I cannot wait to be one of them. Like, I can't wait for like shitty channels to be like, whatever happened to Super? It's gonna be great.
Oh, he's still making content every month, but what happened to him?
Oh.
Where's your weekly videos? When's the next one?
Look, maybe the next video will be out by the time this podcast comes out. I don't know. I accidentally made a feature-length documentary on Garfield.
These things happen.
But this is why we're recording on the Monday, because you've had to reshuffle your schedule for Garfield.
I had to reshuffle so many things for Garfield. I was meant to make a fucking Berserk video this year. I'm so sorry, Miura.
It's better for you to sit with that
I guess
and sit
so.
with Garfield.
Yeah. You gonna do a video on Alf?
Yeah, I'd love to do a video on Alf.
Harry and the Hendersons, just any sort of like character mascot hairy thing that would have been stuck in a car window.
Bag puss.
Yeah, bag puss.
Did Alf really eat cats?
I've never seen Alf.
I don't know. Was that a thing? I think, did he not just like cats?
I think he might have ate cats, unless The Simpsons made a joke about him eating cats, and that was all ever. Was Alf on Irish television?
No.
No?
I think he was on Sky, which
which
some houses would have had.
We didn't get Sky until, let's say, the late 90s.
We had Sky pretty early on, but Sky Digital. Now you're talking crazy.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, and those rich kids who had like Sky Movies and Sky Sports. Jesus. But yeah, Alf, everybody. Guys, I watch Mars Attacks.
It's a great film.
Is it still good?
I didn't think so.
No!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I really liked it 2 years ago.
I haven't watched it in so long.
Okay, so let me break it down a little bit, because it's not like a total disaster.
Okay.
The aliens are great.
Yeah, they sound like ducks.
They're really good, and they're scary. Like, they're such little agents of just malice and hatred. They have no redeeming qualities, and all they want to do is kill. It's all they want to do. It's a shockingly gory movie.
Yeah, because they zap people into like bright red or bright green skeletons, don't they?
Yeah, but they do that, but they also fire drills through them, and
they experiment on people. Like there are several severed heads.
yeah, they attach a woman's head to a small dog and a man's head, I think, to nothing.
Yeah, it's
I
just
think
floating.
He's just floating. But this is a Tim Burton movie from the mid-90s, and it had a gigantic budget. I think it was 100 million, and it made 20 million back. Oh, Niamh.
Sorry.
100 million.
I don't know why that was so shocking, but it was.
100 million was a huge budget in the 90s.
Yeah.
Huge budget.
That's a normal
budget. And you know
budget.
the weird thing? It nearly feels like they didn't quite have enough of a budget.
Really?
Yeah, it's a strange film.
They probably paid for the cast mostly, because the cast is ridiculous.
Totally. It's got the most insane cast.
Like the president and the first lady are Jack Nicholson and Glenn Close.
Holy shit.
So Jack Nicholson plays two roles in this movie. He plays the president, and then he also plays the owner of a space-age casino. And one of them dies halfway through the movie, and I was like, I like joked with Michelle. I was like, they were probably like, you can't kill Jack Nicholson this soon into the movie, and so they cast him again. Later on, I was doing my IMDb snooping on Mars Attacks. Turns out that's the exact reason he had two characters. You know, I like those aliens a lot. I think those aliens designs are like really iconic and strange and fun, and like the animation on them and the noises they make, they're fantastic monsters, you know?
I really like the female alien in disguise and the way she moves.
Yeah, she's cool.
And she has the weird 1950s hairdo.
Would you guys go on a date with that female alien?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She was like
I'm
one of
frightened
those
of her.
like weird boners.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I think she's like maybe a precursor to Lady Dimitrescu in Resident Evil. There's something about her like tall and scary, but you're kind of into it.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
And like her arms move way too much, but then her lower half just glides.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
Her hair is so tall. And that worries me a bit sometimes, tall hair, because like, what's in there?
Hairspray.
What if it's like another head?
Another head.
Yeah. But that part of the movie is really fun, and I had a really good time with it. I think it's the general plot and pacing of the movie that's super fucking weird. It is 40 minutes into this movie before an alien appears on screen. Like, there's one bit where an alien appears on a screen, but the aliens don't come to Earth till 40 minutes in.
It should be like at least 20.
And yeah, and there's barely a plot. Like, the plot is Mars Attacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's the title and the plot.
So people just are attacked. That's it.
And like, there's a little bit of character stuff. No, Jack Black's in it.
Yeah, he is.
As a baby?
He's a jarhead marine.
Yeah,
Oh.
he is. He's one of the first people killed, isn't he?
Yeah.
And his head's shaved.
It has a really good cast, but my god, if you want to see Jack Nicholson just not give a fuck at all, you watch this movie. He did not care.
I'd say a lot of the actors didn't care. Like, it's got Michael J. Fox in it. And
Yep.
why is he in that
Pierce
film?
Brosnan's in it.
Why?
He's really good in it. He's got a pipe, doesn't he?
Yeah, he is actually pretty good in it. It's got Carrie Fisher.
This is an amazing cast.
Wait, Carrie
This is
Fisher?
like
Sarah Jessica Parker's in it.
Yeah, she is. Sorry, I was thinking of Carrie Bradshaw, the fictional character.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Not Carrie Fisher, sorry, Niamh.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. I was really looking forward to going into it, but this movie kind of clunked and kicked along, and it was fun when the Martians were being chaotic, but me and Michelle kind of looked at each other afterwards and were like, we're never going to watch this again.
Natalie Portman's in it.
Natalie Portman is in it.
She's the president's daughter.
And Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito is in it.
This cast is insane.
Yeah.
Jim Brown.
He's
what the
like
hell?
a Vegas like money man, isn't he?
He's Vegas Danny DeVito.
Yeah. I think this film is still I still love it. I really like that the way they defeat the Martians is grandma's awful music.
Yeah, that is fun.
And it makes all their heads explode.
Don't get me wrong, there are fun moments in it, but to me, it's just like real lack of story and characters. It felt like a very nearly kind of cynic, like it's a very cynical movie as well. Like it's very mean spirited in a lot of ways, and that part of it I just didn't get anything out of.
Okay.
I think like Tim Burton's kind of a mean-spirited person. Like when I go back over his movies, I don't like a single one of them, and I thought this was the one that I might still like.
You might though, because like
have you seen Ed Wood?
Ed Wood. Yes, I do not like Ed Wood at all.
Oh, but it's got Bela Lugosi.
He's pretty good in it. The thing I'd say about this movie is fucking weird. Like, it is a really weird movie. It is a 90s movie paying homage to, like, 1950s movies, and that's kind of fun to watch. But, yeah, it's like an hour and 45 minutes, and it stretched that for me, like, a lot. Speaking of Danny DeVito, did you guys watch the first 2 episodes of Always Sunny?
Not yet.
No.
Big fan.
Is there new Always
Yeah,
Sunny?
there's 2
I
episodes.
Okay.
The first one is about the election.
Oh.
And it's chef's kiss.
I've seen a clip out of context about the motor oil hair coloring.
It's very good.
He runs a salon for men, very select men.
Okay.
Brian, tell us about Robin.
Robin is a short film that's on Netflix. It's 30 minutes long, and it is a stop motion Christmas movie made by Aardman Animation.
Oh, no way.
And
I also saw it.
I really, really like this film. I thought it was fantastic.
I loved it.
Cool.
It made me cry a bunch.
It's
not because it's sad. It's really funny.
It is just emotionally whimsical in a good way, and
Yeah.
it does not have a cynical bone in its body.
Yeah. It goes straight to an animator's heart.
Yeah.
It's like stop motion animation with like felt made creatures.
When you said it made you cry, that's immediately what my brain went to.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Anything made with felt.
And like it has all those imperfections where the felt keeps moving, and you see the thumbprints and the like weight from the animator, like, you know, as soon as they step out of frame to take the picture.
Yeah.
So it looks handcrafted that way. It has a lot of digital compositing, but everything was shot in camera and then compiled digitally. So it's this cool like mishmash of kind of old and new techniques.
Sick.
Yeah, it works, and like it looks really nice, but it also like looks budget appropriate. Like
Yeah.
it looks clever. Like they made this work and kept that tactile feel.
It's a very tight film.
Yeah.
It's got the right amount of cast, and they've worked smart with like the mice characters. So it's about a robin that was raised by a family of mice, and the robin thinks she's a mouse or thinks that she can do what a mouse can do, and the mice sneak into houses and they steal food.
Brian, I'm just going to stop you there. This is never going to work.
It doesn't, unfortunately.
I knew it.
And
Why can't people just make films? Why couldn't the film just be about a robin growing up with a robin family?
sometimes you grow up in a family that, you know, maybe you feel like a misfit or an outcast, and maybe this film is about kind of understanding that
Well, I
no
think you
matter
need
who
to
you
grow
are,
the fuck up. Okay,
your family loves you. Isn't that right, Niamh?
I'm sorry. Continue.
Sure.
please.
Merry fucking Christmas, John. The poor thing, little Robin, and she's trying so hard to be a mouse. She has little ears. Like she's
no!
Like she fluffs up her feathers on the back of her head, so she's a
little mouse ears. She's got she's got the little silhouette of the mouse ears, and like the family are kind of supportive now. Like she's got one or two mean siblings that are kind of like, you're not really a mouse. But, like, that's just siblings being siblings. Siblings are going to be, like, a bit brutal to each other. It's just how it is. Dad's super loving and, you know, forgiving and understanding about all the fuck-ups she is, because she really fucks up.
The mice sing a little song about how good they are at sneaking, and when she sings and when she dances to the song, she does so in a way that is not very silent.
She's a bit bombastic and extravagant, unfortunately.
Just like the Spice Girls.
Just like the Spice Girls.
Just like all of the Spice Girls. It's true.
Yeah, she is like the Spice Girls. Anyway, Robin gets into a little bit of trouble on that like nightly excursion to get some food, and she wants to prove herself to her mouse family that she's not a fuck up, and she's going to go and get some food on her own, and that's when her little adventure kind of takes off.
She befriends a magpie voiced by Richard E. Grant. Also, the voice cast's amazing because it's kind of like British actors, but like not like in your face British actors. Like, it has Richard E. Grant as
Gillian Anderson.
Yeah. But like they are playing the characters and they have seen the model sheets of these characters and understand. So like with the cat that Gillian plays, she purrs and meows.
Yeah. Like,
it's very important.
Not a huge fan of actors doing voice acting, but
Same.
like these are actors who gave a shit about this small little animation. Gillian Anderson's character of a cat is a sexy, breathy, evil cat.
Well, that's going to fuck me up.
And she's very
so
breathy
Yeah.
and very cat-like. And like, she's given it her all. It's a very good cat.
Yeah, and like the whole animation style is amazing because they're small animals, and I guess a robin is about like 5-6 inches tall, because she's quite a tall robin because she stands up on her legs. She's kind of like flamingo-like when she hits certain poses, but they've kind of stylized in a way that some of the sets are like 1-to-1 scale human sets with like stylized bowls and cutlery and things like that. And then the same with some of the other models like the cat. But then when they have their cat shadows on the wall, they're like super cartoony looking. It's really, really clever how they do it.
It's very pretty. It's a real, like, if you need many more reasons to fall in love with animation, it's one of the things that I think you show someone and they understand why you might want to do this as a job, like, or why someone might love it. Like, it is funny, it is clever, it is beautiful, it is all these things that you want from a piece of animation. And it's only 30 minutes long, and it's like a perfect little Christmas movie.
That sounds awesome.
It's super funny, and it's like laugh out loud funny for adults kind of thing. It is not just like a kids based cartoon.
They throw some more rated humor in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That magpie fucks.
Nice.
That magpie's really good. I really like when
Magpie's
he's
really good.
I do like when he's annoying everyone and they're like, look, just look at the spoon, and he's like, oh. He just likes shiny things.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we all watched House of Gucci.
Oh my god.
We did.
Yeah.
We all went to the cinema and watched this movie independently of one another. That's mad stuff. Imagine going to the cinema and you go, I'd like to see House of Gucci, please, because that's what we did.
Yeah. I don't, you know what? I don't have to imagine that. Although I do, because I don't remember the tickets part of it.
Okay.
This movie, you know what? I super enjoyed the first quarter a whole bunch. Had a great time.
Yeah, it's like nearly 3 hours long.
It is nearly 3 hours long.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first half of it. It's like, it is a lot of big actors in one movie, and a lot of them get a lot of time, which kind of divides the kind of attention of who the main character is.
Yeah. There is a lot of scenes where I felt like you could have cut this scene and it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah,
but I think there was something the actors liked in that scene.
Because the top billing is Lady Gaga's character, but I don't know if she's the protagonist.
But that's it. It's kind of hard to know who the protagonist is. And at the start, it does seem like Lady Gaga's character because it's about her as Patricia. Is that how you say
Patricia.
it? And Adam Driver's character falling in love.
And that was my favorite part of the movie, but also Lady Gaga I thought was fantastic. I thought she was brilliant.
Yeah, she was really good.
And I thought Adam Driver was really good as well.
He did play that character like super aloof, and he was kind of one of those characters where it's like he's really hard to read because like he's smarter than he looks, but he's kind of meek.
Yeah. And Adam Driver just smiles with his whole face with him, so he kind of has this like very kind of like cute nerdy thing, but he also is like
vicious.
He's vicious as well behind it all. So Adam Driver has his full range. But at the start, between the two of them, it feels like a love story that you're waiting to kind of collapse. But then the second half of it becomes more about like Gucci as an empire.
Yeah.
And for me, my interest totally started to wane in the second half of it.
Yeah. I really liked like the performances at the start because I thought there was something really earnest about them, and I thought like Lady Gaga and Adam Driver had great chemistry. And as that side of the film cooled, so did my enjoyment because I just wasn't as invested in the other stuff. And like they bring some interesting characters into it, but I didn't find like there was anything really to latch onto in any of them.
I didn't care about Gucci. Like I didn't care about like what it meant to be the brand or their their legacy or any of that shit.
To me, that's my exact problem. Is that the whole MacGuffin of Gucci. Maguchi, the whole Maguchi did make sense because like I try and think of something like another rise and fall kind of rich person movie would be like the Wolf of Wall Street, where like you can understand and quantify the motivation of that character and the representation of wealth and them like gaining more and more money and them being more extravagant and their responsibilities with work. But with this, I was like, what are their jobs? Because they're at their desks, but you never see them working, or you like. I didn't understand their responsibilities, or
I think that's totally fair.
How much money did they have, or how much money were they working with, or what?
Even how much like Maurizio actually cared, because Maurizio's Adam Driver character, he like becomes the head of Gucci, and it's just like originally he didn't want that, but then he suddenly does, and then he's suddenly very invested in it, and it's like it feels like this shift from a romance where everyone's kind of like motivations are pretty clear, and like you can see that Patricia's like Lady Gaga's character's motivation is going towards money, and that's all very clear, and then suddenly it kind of just like dissipates.
Yeah. We were saying this before, Niamh, where like it felt like, especially with Maurizio, Adam Driver's character, feels like there's just a chunk of his character arc missing. And like there's one scene where he's like, I don't like it that you did mean things that I said was okay to do.
Yeah.
And then he's like against Lady Gaga after that.
And it's just like, okay, you can get that like maybe he's just kind of like flightyful or like that, but nothing we've seen about him kind of shows that he would just like stop caring about her so instantly. And there's another character that he falls in love with, but I did not buy their chemistry or romance
she
anything.
Was good at making strudel.
Yeah. She made some good strudel.
She just got inserted into the plot, and we're like, okay, it didn't have any like gradient of like character relationships rising and crumbling.
Yeah. So it kind of fell flat by the end, which was disappointing because at the start I was like, it was giving like romance, it was giving camp, it was giving like a lot of chemistry.
And like the cinematography and like the clothes. Weirdly enough, I liked the clothes better when they were poor.
Yeah, well, I think that was a problem with Lady Gaga's character. I know she was trying to dress rich to like for him to like her, but I think even a scene of her like stressing about what to wear would kind of give context for how nice her outfits were at the start, and then I don't know.
I didn't understand because you know at the beginning she doesn't know that Maurizio, his surname is Gucci.
Yeah.
She just finds him attractive because he's just a handsome stranger. But there's no real kind of revelation. Like there is a bit where she goes to visit she meets his dad, but there's no kind of her understanding that he's from Gucci.
I think there's that happens at the bar where she's kind of like, you don't know who I am, and she's like, and he finally says it, and there's a moment, and like it's small, but like she kind of like, kind of double gulps her drink and kind of sits a little straighter, and then she's a little bit more interested in him after that kind of thing, and then she
bumps into him.
Yeah, and then she makes it her business to kind of bump into him and stuff. Basically, Lady Gaga was bloody brilliant, and then once her character wasn't important to the plot anymore, and I think this movie would have been a much interesting story if they really just focused on their relationship growing and crumbling and less about the Gucci empire stuff, but I guess it is House of Gucci.
Yeah.
Jared Leto's character of Paolo, I did not know what was happening, but I was entertained every second.
I did like how he said mouse as moose.
Okay, so
That was very good.
I have a bone to pick with this part of the film in that I genuinely thought Jared Leto was fucking shit. Really genuinely crap. And look, people shit on Jared Leto all the time. You know who doesn't? Me. I think he's an attractive man. I like 30 Seconds from Mars.
I don't think that's the problem. I think he's just kind of weird.
He is
a cult island.
I'm not saying he's not a weirdo.
He's very, very detached from reality.
I'm just saying it is very in vogue to shit on Jared Leto, and I just don't hate him. But he fucking sucked in this movie. And like, I really hate this thing that Hollywood actors do where it's like, I got on all these prosthetics and, you know, I disappeared into that role. And it's like, he was so shit in that movie. The people who did his makeup, wow, what talented people. Mm-hmm. His performance was fucking bad to the point, Niamh, that like, yeah, it was weird and it was bizarre and there was something entertaining about it. I don't think that was on purpose to me.
No, like, I think, like, a lot of the lines he clearly ad-libbed, and it was, like, this weird humor where he would take a saying and just, like, mess it up on purpose, and then when he didn't know what to say, he'd just go, eh, or boof.
Yeah, there was, I could sense there was a lot of ad-libbing because so many of his scenes are shit. Like, they're so bad.
I really want to know what it was like for Al Pacino and Jeremy Irons to work with him.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
I think that's what it's so interesting to me, because this is, like, a Ridley Scott movie with these, like, big names, and then you have Jared Leto just like being insane, and I kind of appreciate it because every time he was on screen then I was just like, more Paolo.
Me, it was kind of
because half the team would be like men in their 70s who are well seasoned in the industry, and I guess like I know Jared Leto's in his 40s, but like he's a young looking guy, and he does not belong in our realm.
To me, like it was one of those things where like, oh, this guy is so famous and so successful, he's just allowed to do whatever he wants, and he's subtracting from this movie.
Oh, I thought he added to it, especially the second half, because I was getting bored, and then I was just like, look, if it's going to be Paolo's time, it's going to be Paolo's time. You know, let's get into it.
The bit where he was like, I want to be free like a pigeon. That was the very thing.
It's like, it's so really bad. Into pigeons.
Yeah, like, I appreciate that there was a chaos he brings to it, but I just thought it was shit. Yeah. Like, I just get an actual old man to play that role well.
Also, the guy he's playing, like the real version of him, designed the Gucci logo. Like he's the one, because the original founder, their grandfather, was named Gucci Gucci, so that's why it has the two G's facing each other, and it's such an iconic logo.
Wow, that's sad. Then when you find out what happened to him in the closing credits, fuck.
But just the way
just
they
let him
kind
sell
of
his shitty clothes.
Yeah.
God, they were so awful. They were great.
They were kind of great.
I actually did like any time they kind of showed the fashion world. Like I liked when they had Anna Wintour. They had like a couple of cutaways of I think they had Versace for a second from far away because he had his curly blonde hair.
Yeah, Karl Lagerfeld.
Karl Lagerfeld was there, and Tom Ford at the end was cool coming in. I liked all of that. So the snippets of that, I was like, I want to see more, but then obviously it's merely about the teasing of it.
Yeah, I wish they had more build up to some of their moments, because like,
yeah, I think, and like maybe I'm crazy, I shit on Ryan Murphy a lot, but I do so with a little bit of love and a little bit of hate. I honestly think Ryan Murphy would have done a better job with this.
As soon as we walked out of the cinema, I was like, this could have been a 10-episode American crime story, and it would have been way more fun.
Yeah, it would have been so much better. Like, the Versace one is great. Like, Ricky Martin, mwah, brilliant. So I was like, afterward, I was just like, who's even Ridley Scott? Like, what has he done? Give this to Ryan Murphy.
He did that samurai movie that no one cares about, Niamh.
Yeah.
Which samurai movie?
Do you know that he released it this year?
The Last Duel?
The Last Duel. That's like a night movie.
Night movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a medieval drama about a really awful subject matter, and nobody wants to go. Also, it's on Disney Plus now, so he doesn't need to whinge about it.
I know, he was whinging so hard, and it's just like, yeah, people don't want to see.
If these fucking millennials would just drop their goddamn phones, we could all go see his weird movie that I don't want to talk about.
It's just like, he's made 3-hour biopics before, like Kingdom of Heaven and American Gangster, and those continue the momentum throughout and keep you like fixated on the main goal. But I just found House of Gucci just didn't. It just sort of meandered.
Just gonna Google Ridley Scott and see if he's done anything good.
Legend, Blade Runner.
Brian, I'm joking.
Alien.
I do love some Alien and Thelma and Louise, gotta say.
Yeah.
But like,
Thelma and Louise, so good.
Yeah, he made that.
I don't know. I don't think you get Ridley Scott to do camp. That's what I'm leaning on with House of Gucci. I don't think you get a straight man to do camp.
I really get the feeling that this movie was in development hell for years, and then it finally got enough of a cast and a director attached to it that it finally got made. But I'd say this thing was like 15 years in production.
I love the stories of Lady Gaga disappearing too much into her character that Ridley Scott has to be like, no, Gaga, come back. Because you have that story and then you have the competing story that she was like, I'm doing zero research on this bitch. So it's like she's like disappeared into this version that she's created. I love Lady Gaga as an actress. I can't wait to see her in more stuff. She's great.
I'd say she did her research.
A Star is Born is still the best Gaga movie.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic movie. It's genuinely very.
I wanted
good.
this one to be better than it because this seems like more of what I'd be interested in. But
still think there were some killer scenes in this movie, like
for sure.
more towards the start. But yeah, Niamh,
yes,
tell us about Wheel of Time.
Oh yes, I watched the first 4 episodes of Wheel of Time.
Whoa, that's loads.
I know. How many have you watched, Bryan?
Half of one.
Half of one, really?
Well, no, I think I finished it, but I kind of drifted.
Okay. So I've read all the books of the Wheel of Time, and I was very dismissive about them because I had to wait for them to be published, and that was very frustrating. It was nice to watch this. This is a high fantasy where there has not been any danger of women being sexually assaulted, and that's actually really surprising. Like,
yeah,
I know the bar is so low, but I have never feared for a woman, like, in that sense, in the same way you do when you watch a Game of Thrones and you're just like, okay, how many like women's asses will frame this shot of a man, or how much like sexual assault will happen today. So what I've always liked about Wheel of Time generally was it is actually, there's a lot of women, like the White Tower, the Aes Sedai, are all women, and there's gendered stuff to do with the power and the one source and stuff like that. I think it's interesting how they're modernizing this kind of stuff, because even though the Wheel of Time has always had a lot of female characters, the important characters are always the guys. Like, it's Rand and it's Matt and it's Perrin. They're kind of the most important, despite there being so many women in a high fantasy setting. Some of the changes that I've noticed, and it's been such a long time since I've read these books, so if I'm wrong, sorry. From my memory of the books, they tell you outright who the Dragon Reborn is. They're just like, the dragon is the main character. It's Rand. Like, sorry. That is like, it tells you book 1, page 1, basically, that Rand al'Tor is the Dragon Reborn. In the TV show, it seems like they could be changing that. Right now, none of the characters know who the dragon is. Even Moraine, the Aes Sedai, who's like coming to find the dragon, she doesn't know who it is. And it's kind of alluding that all of them could be. And I think that's like, or that one of them could be. And there's women in that party as well. And I think it would be a really interesting shake-up to make a female character the dragon. I don't know if they're going to do it.
I'm a feminist, but calm the fuck up. Sorry, no.
I think it's cool that they would do that, like, because there's like, even in it, like, there's like the tavern and stuff like that, and it's like this idea of a character that can, like, the wheel of time, like the treads of time kind of shape themselves around that character. They're all the male characters in this. Already they're suggesting that it is the female characters, or at least 1 or 2 of them in this, that could be that role. And I like that. I like that they're changing things up. They also made the characters a little bit older, which is better, I think.
Rare.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rare.
they're all in their early 20s. They're 22, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're all born the same year, the core cast.
Mm-hmm. Rosamund Pike is kind of like the biggest name in this so far, and she's like your one from I Care a Lot. She's in the Massive Attack music video that I really like. But she's in a lot of stuff.
She's in Gone Girl. She's
in Gone Girl.
She's Gone Girl. Like, I guess, like, you know how in the first season of Game of Thrones they had Sean Bean as their kind of prestige actor?
Yeah.
She's their prestige actor for season 1.
She's doing a great job. Like, waifish, willowy woman, she's got it down. Love it. Like, every time she's on screen, I'm like, I love this.
She has such mysterious cheekbones.
Yeah, they're so high. The costuming is really nice, and the sets are, like, they're interesting. Like, it is a fantasy land that you don't see as much of. Like, it's not just like wet dark woods. Like, there's white rock, there's sand, there's like it's already visually very distinct from other high fantasy TV shows.
Would you say like the production of it is kind of up there, or is it?
This is where
The set's good, the monsters.
Yeah, this is the problem. There's a lot of like CGI monsters in this. The bad guys you're dealing with are called Trollocs, and they're basically like, imagine if orcs' lower body was like hoofs, like half kind of goat.
They can run on all fours. They're kind of more ogre-y, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're kind of done with a mix of people in suits and a mix of CG, and it's not the best. And
they move in a snappy way that kind of goes, I don't know. It doesn't look right.
It doesn't look great. It looks like TV CG.
Right. Okay.
But saying that, it's serviceable. Like, they also, like, when they are brutal and when they're fighting, like, it doesn't look too bad, kind of thing. Yeah, it's not the best, like, not gonna lie to you. The magic that Moraine is using, pulling from the one source, that kind of looks a bit weird and bad too.
I mean, I think
love it.
Game of Thrones had some shitty CG too.
Yeah.
Those skeletons.
Oh my, that whole scene broke my heart.
But then all the like White Walkers look cool, but they're just people in costumes, and I guess like zombie costumes, like that's like a very safe bet in like big budget TV.
Do you know this? Sorry, Niamh, we'll get back to wheel time in 1 second. Do you know the thing that still fucking kills me about the White Walkers? I wanted my zombies riding tarantulas. I wanted it so bad, and I never got it.
I just wanted Lady Stoneheart.
There's just some
Strong
limits
Belois.
that you're going to have to do when you kind of make something a TV show, and that's going to happen all over the Wheel of Time, and you can already see them moving this plot
Really?
forward, and I think it's a good decision. You cannot
Okay,
adapt 14 books. Like that's not going to work.
It's too ambitious.
It's too ambitious.
Niamh, here's my question, right? My dad, in the last, I'd say 2 years, has kind of discovered, and this is a man in his like late 60s, has discovered that he likes fantasy. I watched the first like 3 seasons of Game of Thrones with him and my mom, and then my mom was like, John, I don't want to watch this anymore. And I was like, okay, mom. Then my dad got really into Lord of the Rings. He bought all the movies, including The Hobbit, and he sat down and he watched them for like half an hour every day until he had watched all the movies, and then he did that again. And I said, why did you do that again? And he was like, because now I know who everyone is.
Oh.
The poor thing.
Would this be something to watch with him?
I don't know. It is like, it's not as gritty as a Game of Thrones, and it doesn't have the budget of a Lord of the Rings, so it might be
He
harder
did sit
sell.
through all of the Hobbit movies.
They are bad.
Yeah.
Especially that third one.
I don't know. It's weird. I am so happy to see so many women on screen all together and like
He does
diverse.
hate women.
Yeah. Your
No, he
dad
doesn't. He does not at all.
notoriously hates women. And like it's a really racially diverse cast. I think that the stuff that is good about this, I don't know if that matters to him. You know what I mean? I don't know if he would be like, wow, it's refreshing to see fantasy with like a diverse cast of people.
He would not have like, it's not like he would be like, why are all these minorities in my movie? But he also, that's just not something he'd think about.
Well, I mean, give it a go, I guess, is kind of it. I think the first episode is sadly the weakest one so far. It is a pretty weak starting episode. If you get to episode 3 and he still likes it, then great. But like episode 1 is a hump for people.
Maybe we'll stick with
Was for me.
Yeah, it's like, it is a bad first episode.
Is it one of those like hour long?
It's not even that. I think the big problem with this, and this is my problem with it overall, because generally I'm enjoying it, the dialogue is bad.
Oh, okay.
It is like, there's a lot of talking and saying nothing, you know?
That's I hate that. I hate that so bad dialogue is like my big can't do it.
And I'm hoping that these characters will warm into this role, and that this, like, the more like information they get as characters, and just the more everything kind of progresses into itself, it'll get more in depth. But it is the type of dialogue now where it's just like they're saying nothing to each other. They're basically describing what they are doing and where they are going.
It was a good summer, and it will be winter soon. And you have grown taller this year, my child.
It's kind of like, it's pretty basic.
Okay.
Like, and that to me is where this is falling down, is they have not made this these characters interesting to talk to each other. And they've done other stuff like Perrin. They've given him a new origin story, which I think is actually really good. Like, I think it's a good one. And they're doing stuff to make these characters more interesting in that world. But if that dialogue isn't going to catch up, I don't know about this.
Right. Sometimes dialogue in early episodes can be bad as they're trying to exposit the whole world lore and history of everything in there. But
And there's a lot.
Yeah. But if you think it's like a deeper problem than that sucks.
A little bit. It might be the cast as well. Like, they seem a little green, but again, I feel like if this keeps going, it has a lot of room to grow into itself.
Hopefully, yeah.
And I'm hopeful for that, and I'm into it more. It made me realize why I like the books. Like, you know,
that's a
it
good
brought me
feeling.
back.
Yeah, no, that's great.
But I am a little worried.
Are there any other like fantasy books that you would be like, how would they adapt that?
I think Robin Hood would be so fucking weird.
I think the Robin Hood books are like, they're ripe for adaptation. Like, they are, like, they don't have so much stuff going on that CG would kill them and stuff. I mean, there is dragons, but like, generally they are quiet and about a few people, you know?
There is a lot of those books that is a boy talking to a wolf.
Yeah.
And
how would you do a wolf?
That could be kind of tricky, but I think if they didn't decide on a CG wolf and just made it weird and directory, if that makes sense, that could be cool.
There was a fantasy series I read called Magician by Raymond Feist. Do you know that one? And that's a medieval fantasy, but it's to do with it's called the Rift War Saga, and it's to do with portals and people teleporting from alternate dimensions from other medieval like universes and fighting each other. But I don't know if they could ever adapt that as well, but a lot of Magician is in Fire Emblem.
Really?
Oh.
And so I think that's why I like Fire Emblem so much, because it reminds me of that book. And
I've never heard of that book.
I read a ton of the David Gemmell books.
Same.
Skilgannon.
Skilgannon, I love Skilgannon.
Yeah, I remember
And
those
Iron Hand's
books
daughter.
being so much fun.
Skilgannon was hot. There was
Skilgannon, everyone
Yeah.
in those books was
Yeah,
hot.
I know.
I don't know how he did it, but like everyone was really hot.
Decado, like he was like this archer. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are
Iron
fun.
Hand's daughter. Yeah, Gemmell, I don't know if he was trashy at the time because I read him as a teenager, but I really liked his books.
I'm pretty sure it was trashy.
Yeah.
And I didn't think so at the time, but thinking back, I can remember it was a very much like, here's a muscly man wandering around a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I remember he was able to write some stuff really well. Like I remember there was a few relationships in it. Like his female characters didn't suck.
Yeah.
They were tropey in the way a lot of like the way you were saying earlier, but like I remember like they had fire to them and they were cool, and you were like, oh, I hope he sees that cool girl again.
Yeah, like as a girl reading these books, I was never turned off, you know?
Yeah. You know what never turns me off?
Here we go!
Strategy talk.
gaming. We are just dripping with
I
enthusiasm.
regret that segue more than I can ever convey. I'm so sorry, everyone.
It's just full on boners and ball sacks right here, isn't it? Come on.
Can I be Boners? Is that my new nickname?
Oh, I would be so down if Niamh's nickname was Boners. Boners, get down from there! You know, whenever Niamh goes...
I just love to climb.
Fully erect for climbing.
Oh... Speaking of fully erect, I played Shin Megami Tensei 5. There's a giant penis demon. That's what I was going for with
There
that
is,
one.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that dude's hair is fabulous.
Oh my god. Okay, his hair. Dude's got short hair. Fuses with the dude who's got short hair. Long hair.
That's what happens.
Really?
Yeah. Guys get longer hair when they're together.
That's why Oni's hair is so long.
Oh, he is like the mane of a horse. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've ever seen a photo of Oni.
Beautiful long hair. That's all you need
Yeah.
to know.
I believe it. His Discord picture lets me know that much.
Goldilocks.
Cool. So yeah, I basically have been playing 2 JRPGs back to back for a total of, I'm guessing, about 140 hours of gameplay. Which
So these two games are...
Shin Megami Tensei 5,
Okay.
Tales of Arise.
Those are fat ones.
They're real fat ones, but I promise I'm going to have them both beat by the end of the year, so I'll be able to talk about them intricately for the Game Awards.
Of course you will.
Tales of Arise isn't too fat.
No.
How far are we talking?
50 to 60 hours.
Niamh, that's pretty far.
For a JRPG, that is not. That is not.
Okay,
that's actually kind of lean for
Yeah,
a
that is
JRPG.
lean.
Oh, guys, come on. What are we
100
doing
hours
here?
is
Yeah, like
like
fucking Persona's like 110 hours. Come
Yeah.
on.
For me, it was 120 because I was talking to all the girls.
I got that cutscene where everyone was like, stop fucking everyone in Persona 5. And I was like, no. It's interesting playing these two games like at the same time because they are both JRPGs. Their focus and goals could not be more different. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is a mean game. You hear that those games are punishing. You hear that like you really have to be on your shit. But here's how my first like 4 hours of Shin Megami Tensei played out. I got into this like basically semi-open area. You know, it's not so much you're traveling from point A cutscene to, you know, point A to point B cutscene, repeat. You basically just hit this giant area and like some minor things happen and there's a few things to do, but for the most part you're just in this like very like not open world but a big open environment, and there's side quests to do and there's different demons to catch, and that side of the game is really cool. I think if you've been like I've really had a problem with Pokemon for a long time because those games are too fucking easy. The originals weren't that easy, and the new ones are just always for babies.
Do you think the originals weren't easy because you were a kid then?
No, I have replayed them in the years since, and they're like mean in a way the new ones are not.
Okay.
That milk tank in silver.
Oh, that fucking rollout. Now in like online Pokemon games, there's a 20-minute limit because people were using those kind of moves and just like wasting time.
I'm familiar.
It's fucked up.
But and in a lot of ways Shin Megami Tensei is nearly like, okay, if you want a hard Pokemon game, this is about the closest thing you're going to get, because it's all about like you go out into the field, every enemy is something that you can recruit to your team, so you have to talk to them and like try and charm them and stuff. It's weird and it's fun, and I'm weirdly down for like just the atmosphere and the feel of it. I like dipped my toe in Shin Megami Tensei 3 earlier this year, and one thing I really liked about it was like the very nearly like nihilistic feel of it all, and that's totally here but even turned up. The fidelity of this game isn't amazing. I think the art direction of it is fantastic. I think this game looks great. Like even on a Switch, I think like the designs are all super tight. Like there's a certain like cohesion between how it looks and how it sounds that really makes you feel like you are living the end of the world, and I kind of love that. So anyway, my first 4 hours was basically exploring this big open plain. You know, I get 20 minutes of cutscene, then all this stuff, and I'm kind of going around and I'm recruiting different monsters, I'm fusing them together, and then after 2 hours I hit the boss. And I get a little, you know, there's a little cutscene where someone's like, "Oh, the boss is up ahead. We should probably kind of, you know, get ready. We should probably go grind." And I was like, okay. And so I go and I grind for 2 hours. I do side quests, I fuse new monsters, I do all this kind of stuff. I go fight the boss, and I'm wiped out nearly immediately.
Really?
Oh, whoa.
Like just stomped.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, clearly I have done something wrong here. And so I go back in, I kind of readjust my tactics, and I do a bit better, and I wipe like so fast. And I was like, oh, okay. That was the moment where I was like, I see what kind of game this is. So then I go and I grind for another 2 hours, I do more side quests, I fuse more monsters, and then I have a team that's way stronger, and I wipe again. But this time I felt like, okay, I think there's a fighting chance this time. And I got to the point where I was micromanaging each one of my turns. And it's like, okay, wait, if I pass at this, there's a really interesting thing you can do where you can pass on a character's turn, and that will give their turn to the next person, or add like basically one more turn onto the end of your current turns. So if the character, so basically like the boss I was facing was vulnerable against ice, and I had one character who didn't have any ice attacks, but he was like had loads of HP and was good for soaking up attacks, and whenever I'd hit him I'd just pass, so then his turn would go on to someone who could use ice attacks and do more damage. there's so many little micromanaging bits like that, and it's like those tiny moves, like knowledge of them and how to use them. It's learning to understand them and like ever so slightly just dial up the chances of you winning a fight. That's been my experience with like that first boss, and it was really satisfying when I got it. Like it was like, oh fuck, I did it. It was such a difficult boss fight, and like straight up just stalled me for like 4 hours. But what I'd say as well is like, it is grind heavy. I'm not a big fan of that, especially nowadays. I didn't hate it. Like, it wasn't just that I was grinding, because like I was, you know, going out, and I wasn't just leveling up. I was doing like these weird side quests. I was like being like, oh, I really want to get that one demon so I can fuse this other demon.
You had a plan, and
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
going to execute it.
And exactly, that's how
Yeah.
it felt. It didn't feel like I was just grinding enough stats to beat this thing. I was working for the different parts of this plan I needed to put in
Yeah.
place to beat this monster.
It's got some good resources.
Yeah, and I had a great time.
I'm going to play this.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I feel like what I am talking about is a lot of this game, but I would also stress presentation's fucking great. There is a part where Lucifer showed up, and he filled the sky in a way that was terrifying and brilliant. And I was like, oh my god, am I going to have to fight that? And like, it really put the fear of God in me, because it was just so well presented. It's like him, and like there's like thousands of angels in front of him against this big golden sky, and it was awesome. You know, it was really, really cool. I can totally see why people get so passionate about these games. This is going to be something I have humming in the background for a while. Like, this is not something I'm going to be able to dedicate like massive amounts of time to, but it's good. Like, it's brutal. It's really brutal. If you're not on your shit, you will get wiped out. And it's also been really interesting seeing like the Persona combat system, which really is not like a combat system I like very much at all. It's interesting seeing like the mega expanded version of that, you know. And like, I don't think the Persona combat system needs to be as complicated as this system, in the same way this game doesn't need social links. You know, they're very different experiences, but this game's cool. Like, it's the kind of game where I feel like after spending a couple of hours with it, I understand completely what it's doing. And if someone didn't like this game, it's because they don't like the goal here, as opposed to the goal is being done badly. It kind of feels the same with Dragon Quest, where it's like Dragon Quest knows exactly what you want to be, and I think it's nearly less about whether they've done it well or not, because they've been doing it for so long, they know how to do it well, as much as is like, this is their goal and this is what they're doing, and they're doing it kind of exceptionally. That's how I feel about this game. So yeah, if you want a really fucking rock hard RPG,
Yes.
this is for you. Like, if you are gonna really be like, okay, I'm gonna transfer this spell from this monster and fuse this one, but then I'm gonna register it so I can bring it back and take its power from it, and like all that kind of shit. That's this game. Kind of rules. I think you'd love the visuals, Niamh.
Yeah. I've decided to get it, and it is sold out everywhere in physical copies, so I'm gonna just get it digitally.
I feel like Switch in Ireland is just
I
like,
know.
fucking forget about it.
Yeah, especially for Japanese games. It's like,
Yeah.
does not exist. GameStop didn't even get any in.
No, I'd say it was a niche pre-order thing.
If you want to order it from Amazon, it'll ship in late January.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Just in time for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
So I'll get it digitally so we can talk about it. So pre-show is going to have some Halo and some Shin Megami Tensei.
Yes. It will also have a game that I will have properly played, because I've only played it for about 30 minutes, and that is Solar Ash.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to talk about Solar Ash. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the game made by Heart Machine, who made...
More like Solar Ass Kingdom.
Whoa.
Got him.
That's so mean.
I have no idea if this game's good or not. I thought of that joke a couple of days ago, and
He's been keeping it.
Yeah.
it's been cooking.
This is by Heart Machine, who made Hyper Light Drifter, which was a Kickstarter game a few years ago, and it is one of the very few examples of a good Kickstarter game that doesn't feel like a student film. Because I've backed a couple of Kickstarter games, and they've been incredibly disappointing, but Heart Machine delivered with Hyper Light Drifter.
Do you ever get to that moment where like you get like a backer update and you see the actual trailer, like not the beta, not the concept, but like the actual beta, and it's like, Oh no!
Because at that point,
I
it's-
wasted my money.
Yeah, you spent money on it, and you're seeing something you would see in an E3 bumper trailer that you would just not give a fuck about.
Yeah, and it's
but now you have to give a fuck.
I had a few of
because
them
you're
where
invested.
I didn't even play them, but also I never heard anyone else talk about them. Sorry, Brian, you were saying.
Solar Ash is their new game, and this one is a 3D game, which is very impressive considering the small studio. This is their second game, and it's in the third dimension. It is distributed by Annapurna, who also did a game called The Pathless, and it is incredibly unfortunate that I'm playing Solar Ash, and immediately I start playing this game, and I'm like, this plays like The Pathless.
It's a rollerblading floaty game.
Yeah, you're playing as a female character, and you're skating in this big giant open world valley environment. There are some differences. The Pathless takes place in the past. It's more historical. You're on an island, and it's ancient ruins, and the story is kind of vague. Solar Ash is sci-fi, and it's extremely dialogue heavy.
Interesting. Yeah.
I would
And
not have expected
It
that.
kind of reminds you of Nier Automata, like that kind of dialogue. And there are kind of like AI systems and other like communicators you talk to that relay information like Nier Automata. Completely different vibe, but in terms of like the amount of like information you're being given, it's like that. And the story starts in the middle, kind of like Hades or something like that, where like the characters are talking to themselves and you don't understand the context, but they're already kind of defined before you're introduced to them. And you're a surviving member of a black hole incident, and your planet is in the process of being eaten, and you're trying to find out what happened to the rest of your squad and I guess your family, like the other members of your alien species. And you're going around collecting information and finding bosses.
Are you having fun?
I am. It plays very good. And as someone who liked the Pathless and just wants the Pathless again, this is that. You have a weapon right away, and it's like a sword, but it's kind of like a quick melee dagger kind of sword. It's kind of hard to tell what my attack is or what the range is because it happens so fast. So I'm kind of getting used to the timing of that. And she has like a hold down the left trigger to glide faster. And she has a boost, but she can only boost when she's on the ground. So you can't jump in midair and boost, but you can jump and land. And as you land, you can get a boost. So it's kind of like Tony Hawk's or something, or one of those kind of skateboarding games where you need to kind of learn the timing to get the best kind of like momentum going with her. But the first area does a good job of kind of teaching you all the mechanics, and I'm loving the vibe so far. Visually, it looks amazing. It has this really, really cool like 2D effects animation to kind of like tidy up loading screens, and kind of when you get a game over to starting on a continue, it kind of flourishes all that stuff very nicely.
I was looking at some of it, and it's just like it's very neon colored, and a lot of it kind of reminded me a little bit of Boomerang X, where like enemies have like central cores that you're attacking.
Yeah, exactly. You have to kind of climb up. It's a bit like Shadow of the Colossus, where you have to go up onto the enemy and you have to navigate them, and they kind of have these hard white shells, but then there's a black poisonous ooze underneath, and you can kind of touch it a tiny bit, but it has a bit of a countdown to it. But you kind of have to navigate around them and kind of skate around within a time limit and take out the weak point, and you have to do this 3 times, and it gets more and more difficult upon each time. I think the game's only like 4 or 5 hours long.
Really? Huh.
Game costs €40.
See that?
I wish it was 20.
Like I have talked endlessly about how much I love Hyper Light Drifter. I think this looks like it's doing a very different thing that kind of didn't really grab me in the trailers in the same way I think it grabbed both of you guys. But like they're a very talented studio. But when I saw $40, I was a bit like, oh, I'm not really down for that.
This game's gonna go on sale soon. Don't worry. Like for me, I was in on the like I was ready to go. But even when they were like launching it, there wasn't like timer or anything on the PlayStation Store like telling you when it was gonna go live. Like it went live at 5:00 our time, but like they didn't have like a price point or anything like that for info in advance.
Oh.
So it just popped up and it was €40, and I was like, well, I'm already like waiting for this, so I'm gonna download it.
40's high.
Yeah, it's a well optimized game. All things like the game was like 4 gigabytes to download, which is pretty small for a contemporary game,
especially 3D game.
Yeah, and sometimes I find with these 3D indie games, they have like a weird like interlacing problem where everything looks weird and jaggy on the diagonals. This doesn't have that at all. It really looks crisp and clean. Like it's a very,
Nice.
it's a very it's like slightly softened, but it's still like crisp. But it's just very well presented that way.
Do you think this is something that's going to have like be a difficult game? Because I know Hyper Light Drifter kind of wasn't that a hard game?
The Hyper Light Drifter was tough,
Yeah, it was
and
hard.
I have heard that this gets tough.
Oh, okay.
Like quite tough.
I did have some trouble with the boss, but it was my fault, not the game's fault. Like it was just like it's a case of learning patterns. There is a bit of kind of luck about kind of throwing your character and hoping that the character lands.
Yeah.
And it has a cool mechanic where you can freeze time and aim a like a reticle, and then you can like teleport to that location.
That's from Boomerang X.
I did download that. I played a little bit of that.
I've got it ready to go as well. Don't you worry. Game of the year. That game is getting talked about.
Hell yeah.
But I will probably talk more about Solar Ash. But so far, I'm enjoying it. I don't know how much I'll enjoy it, but I'm not disappointed by it, which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially considering Hyperlight.
Yeah.
But cool. Niamh,
Yes.
you want to give us a Dungeon Encounters update?
Yeah, very quickly. I've been playing a lot more Dungeon Encounters, and
Oh, Niamh just made a face.
I don't know. It's still like I was just like, I wonder when the art will click in. Like never, Niamh. The art is not going to. It is so stripped back that I feel kind of annoyed by it.
You see, that's how I felt the whole time with it. And I don't want to, because it seems like it has some cool stuff.
Like on each floor you have a number that represents stuff. So like 05 is a healing shrine to heal on the floor that you're on. Just do a little drawing of a healing shrine. Just have an icon, because trying to remember the numbers.
A little purple fountain.
Yeah, like just a little drawing is all you need, guys. And like it's so stripped back, but then in other things it isn't. There you can pick from like, I think it's like around 50 characters.
Yeah, there's loads of them.
And like the more you go, you find other ones on floors, and you can kind of like, you can get more and more characters. Each one of those, if you put them as the first person in your party, you can walk around them as them, and they all have a 3D model.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, wow, this Tiger Man has a 3D model.
Every single one of them has like a lovely 3D model, and it's just like, what was this? Like, it feels like so much work has gone into parts of it, and then not with the other parts of it.
Sounds like a game jam.
It's so strange.
Oh, it so feels like a game jam.
Like the floor, I was on floor like 16 last night, and it has gotten like much tougher, but all of your stats are tied to items, like in terms like even your damage output. You buy a spell that you equip that has a certain damage output, and it'll say will randomly do damage between 0 and 350, or will do a fixed damage of 150, and it's like up to you whether what you want to equip your characters with, and each characters basically have like a hold limit, like how much things they can equip, and that goes up as you level them up. So if you want to say level up a lower level character, what you could do is equip them with loads of armor and maybe a spell that does a random number of damage, so you're not kind of relying on their level, and they could get a really good hit in because they have a spell that has a random amount of damage. But that kind of means that every character is really similar. Like you get to a point and it's just like, well, I can buy this type of armor, so I'll equip them all with this type of armor.
I guess from everything else you're saying, character shit is the stuff I need to like really pop with this thing. Like I need to feel like I'm playing a different game. If it's going to be that pulled back, I need those mechanics to be so expressive.
They're kind of like, and they're not like I'm playing as I have one guy who I have designated a mage because his character design looks like a mage, but you can equip 2 things, whether it's 2 physical attacks or 2 spells, and you can do that on any character, and their magic attack is like, you know, is is what you equip them with, and their defense is what you equip them with. So I can make the one that looks like a knight as powerful a mage as I can make the mage be a knight. You know what I mean? It's like literally just their designs have nothing to do with their abilities. The ability is all tied to the armor.
Yeah.
And it's just how far can you go in this dungeon before you wipe and have to go back and get new characters. And if you wipe all your characters, like, and you've been just leveling them and they're all level 20, and you go back and all you have there left is level 0, well then you start at the start and then you go and you
Wait,
climb.
so your characters die?
You can resurrect them, but you have to get to that floor to resurrect.
Okay.
Right.
It's just like you have to get to the end of the dungeon.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's...
Okay, here's my problem with, I guess, what you're saying.
Yeah.
I feel like I am getting JRPG battle heroine into my veins with Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
Shin Megami Tensei also has a fucking amazing look and soundtrack. And look, people say there's no story to those games. I'm kind of intrigued. It's wild. It's really strange, but I like it. It's so difficult for me to think of why I should play Dungeon Encounters. And I own Dungeon Encounters. Like, I bought it and I played the first couple hours and like didn't really grab me. It's so difficult for me to make the argument of why I should play it over Shin Megami Tensei.
I can't argue for it. I do know that I played it accidentally to 3 a.m. the other night because I kept being like, I nearly finished this dungeon. I can get to the next floor. And then you unlock stuff where you can like... There'll be stuff like you'll get to a floor, but your ascending or descending stairway will be on a tile that there's no other tiles to access it. And that's because you'll like unlock an ability that lets you drop from the floor above down onto it. So if you put yourself right where a tile would be, you can land on it and get like a secret item and stuff like that.
That stuff is kind of fun.
So it's doing fun stuff with the layers of the dungeon and how you ascend and descend it, and kind of like, do I want to wipe and leave my team here, or do I just like literally want to walk all the way back and buy new armor and bring them back, and kind of... So like there's stuff there, but it is literally just all mechanics, and I don't know. As someone who likes that part of JRPGs, I don't think they're interesting enough.
You were saying about like unlocking new characters. Mm-hmm. It's cool that like there are so many characters, but then you were saying how like mechanically similar a lot of them are. They're
all the same.
So like what's the pleasure in unlocking a new character?
They look different. I'm walking around as like I kind of every floor I get to, I change the character in the lead position just to walk around with them. And because you kind of like there's different obviously enemies that you're running up against. So and they have like a hit point and a magic point, and then they have their HP point, and you have to clear one of those. You're going to need magic users and physical attack users, so it's kind of having the balance of the two of those, but also always be continuously leveling one or two people. You're basically managing weak characters with strong characters with enough skills to get yourself to a point where you can decide if you want to keep going or not.
Because remember I played one of them, I think it's Altair Iris games, and they're like big... Did you know the ones, Brian? There was a bunch of them on 3DS, and they're big dungeon games as well. But like the character classes in that were so fucking weird that was really fun. Like, you were starting off with like shield masters and necromancers and all this kind of stuff.
This is where like Bravely Default 2 has that, because it has all the dress spheres in it, and they all have these like cool little abilities, and like you can like mess around with them. Like if you're the tamer, your strength is tied to how many monsters you're capturing, so you're just capturing loads of monsters, and then you can equip characters with like a passive capture, and there's just fun like, stuff like that.
If Dungeons Encounters isn't doing that stuff, that's the point where I just feel like, why does this exist?
I don't know.
And like, I'd love an answer to that question. Like, if someone is fucking hardcore out there into Dungeons Encounters, please send an email and I will read the whole thing. Because like, I want to know, because there has to be something behind. And like, I know people like this game as well.
I think like it is just combat. And as I said, I played it until 3 a.m.
It's got a good gaplay loop.
I kept going because I was just
hooks,
like,
obviously.
the hooks are there for sure.
Visually, it's really uninspiring.
But then, like, afterwards, I'm like, do I like this? Am I like, do I care about like? I could just be playing like more Bravely Default, or I could be playing like Shin Megami Tensei, and like maybe it's not going to be the most story, but it'll have thematic stuff and like design even.
Yeah.
And this like feels like it charging me €30 to kind of. like, here's a concept, here's a battle concept that we might use again.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, and like I paid that €30 at the promise of like, oh, this is going to be like, you're going to see some crazy mechanics here. But anyway, maybe we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I would love to hear about how this game got made and released.
Brian,
Yes.
you have been playing one of the newest game consoles, if I'm not mistaken, the PlayStation 3.
Yes, the PlayStation 3. I was back down in my family home where my PlayStation 3 currently is. And with the news this year about the online shop for the PS Vita and the PS3, with them kind of planning to shut it down, and then they weren't, and now they are, but it's delayed. But there was a bunch of games I wanted to get off the PlayStation shop onto my PS3 before it's too late. Specifically Tokyo Jungle, because that's a great little game.
Oh, yeah.
I love Tokyo Jungle. I just want to talk about Tokyo Jungle for a sec. That's like one of my favorite post-apocalyptic games. And you play as like a little Pomeranian, and the music is like, but then like maybe a pack of wolves attack you when you die. That's really sad.
That's nature, though.
Yeah,
That's what happens to Pomeranians all the time.
but I love that game so much. As someone who's been with PS Plus since 2012, there was a bunch of games on my download list, and like, before you could go on the browser and queue them up that way, so all you'd need to do is turn on your console and pull them down. But the way it is now is the only way to access the PlayStation 3 store is through the PlayStation 3. That's the only storefront door that's left open. You can't access it through a PS5 or a PS4 or by browser or by Vita or anything like that. It has to be on the system itself. And this isn't my PS3. This was a gift from my uncle who owned a PS3 and never played it, and said, "Yeah, you can have this." And it's a launch PS3, and I think it has 60 gigabytes of storage. And the way the PS3 downloading works is that it needs to download. So let's say a game is 6 gigabytes. You need 12 gigabytes of space because it needs to download the 6 gigabyte installation of the game, then install the game, then delete it. So it needs 2 rooms for it to walk through.
Brian, that's silly.
But that was architecture for video game consoles in the mid-2000s.
Not the 360.
No. And it's so weird downloading a game because, like, if a game is under 500 megabytes, I'll just straight up download it. But if it's bigger than that, like a gigabyte or more, I need to, and also I needed to plug the PS3 into like via LAN cable into the router because it didn't have wireless because the original PS3 and the original 360 didn't have wireless internet. The Wii did, but the PS3 and 360 needed either a like
You are
signal.
right. I had to buy a wireless dongle.
Yeah, and it had like a little antenna.
I went through such hell with that wireless dongle trying to get it to work.
Yeah, and it wouldn't connect to the router because it was just
right,
so...
when you started saying that, I was like, no fucking way, that's
same.
not true.
I was just like, I've played Gears of War online, Brian, that's bullshit. But now I'm like,
but
you're right,
that's
yeah.
That's because we had to pay like 70 quid for a little shitty piece of like wireless dongle.
Okay, so it was like a little router with like a little antenna and would plug into the asshole of the 360.
Had a little light and it would go red and green, and I spent so long trying to make that fucking thing go green.
Yeah, that thing was great.
Look at it. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
You can buy it for £17 and £13 postage.
Stuck that thing in my Xbox 360, got it working 4 days later, downloaded the demo to Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah. It's a good game.
Couldn't believe I could download demos. That was so mind-blowing.
It was a real novelty. But there was a bunch of games on my PS Plus that I'd been meaning to download, so I downloaded like the Zone of the Enders HD collection. They had a Darkstalkers game that has like 2 of the Darkstalkers in one.
Oh, I think I remember that one.
So it just made sense. Look, I'll just have it because it's ready to go. And I have Persona 4 Arena Ultimax Suplex Hold because that's the only way you can play those games.
That game's so fucking good.
It might be playable on the 360, or from the 360. It might be playable on an Xbox Series.
I think that might make sense.
Yeah.
Because their backwards compatibility is very good. But the PlayStation backwards compatibility has this really awkward speed bump in the form of the PS3. Where the PS3 at launch could play PS2 games, but only certain kinds of PS2 games. They needed to have the purple optical, I think.
Really?
I think it needed to be like DVD-based discs. because not all of them were DVD based.
Weird.
They were always the most volatile as well for
Yeah,
scratches.
a lot of them were like their early ones.
Yeah.
Like I remember a lot of mine didn't stop working.
I'm pretty sure that's how it worked, but it didn't play. It was always like it plays 90% of PlayStation 2 games on the original launch PS3. But yeah, there was just a bunch of games I wanted to get before the next time I thought about getting them. They probably weren't going to be there anymore.
Yeah.
Did you play any?
No, but I'm going to play some over Christmas.
That sounds good.
I want to play more Tokyo Jungle.
What are you guys going to play over Christmas?
Maybe Deltarune.
Oh, I'm definitely playing Deltarune. I'm going to eat a lot of food and play Deltarune.
I'm going to play Kirby 64, Kirby and the Crystal Shards. I have that ready to go. I have original hardware, and I have my Tribute 64 wireless controller.
How about you, Niamh?
Death Stranding Special Edition Director's Cut.
I might play some Death Stranding.
Super piss.
It's just like
Super piss.
yeah, the Super Piss Edition.
The big cup of piss. It's been filled over the brim. It's dripping.
It feels like a Christmas game because of all the snow sections.
I think there's also like there is a pace to that game that I think is nice to play when you don't have anything else going on.
It's true.
Yeah. Real quick. I want to give a little Inscryption update.
Okay.
So I was nowhere near done that game.
I knew it.
Yeah. It's just everyone was right.
Pull back the curtain.
I was so annoyed. I got past where I was at like the Sunday before the new podcast went up, and I was like, I'm not even going to read the comments tomorrow. But that game is still very cool. The thing that had me stuck was so fucking annoying because it's really difficult to describe without getting super like into spoilery stuff, and I think this is a game that people like to discover. But basically, there was a special item I had, and I had to use an item at a certain point in my run, but because it's a powerful item, I kept using it on the final boss. The only thing is, if you use it on the final boss, the effect you need to advance the story doesn't activate. And so then I'd get to the end of the game, and it would the little hint it would drop you would be like, I think this item's important. And I'd be like, I'm using the fucking item. And like I had to like I think this game is meant to be 15 hours long. I think I'm 12 hours into it and a third of the way through because I just kept running the same run and using the item in the wrong place. And there's nothing to tell you that you're doing it wrong.
So really it needs like a line of dialogue where it's like this item is important
Maybe
in
you should
more
use
than
it now.
one way.
Maybe you should use this item before the final boss.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, because most people will hoard items for bosses.
Oh,
And like
yeah, of course.
I did like eventually I was like, okay, fuck it, and I googled it, and I did find like a bunch of Reddit posts of people having the exact same issue. And it's weird because like a lot of people didn't know where they were going wrong, and so once I eventually figured it out, it was like no one knows how this game works, you know. But
It's definitely a playtesting issue.
I'm still really into that game. I actually haven't played anymore because I just feel kind of burnt out on it. But like, I think unfortunately, this very particular experience has kind of soured me on it a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I think there was a point where I probably would have been pushing for this pretty hard, and I'm going to go back to it and play more before Game of the Year, so maybe I'll get back into it. But this was a bummer. Like, and it was one of those things where like clearly it's one dude making this. He can't play test for everything, and like
No, you can't.
My situation, it's not like I'm the only person this happened to, but also like it's not, I haven't heard that many people having it. Like I've heard people just getting by this bit and being fine, but my own personal subjective enjoyment of it took a hit. Tales of Arise. I also played Tales of Arise, and what's interesting to me is comparing Tales of Arise and Shin Megami Tensei 5, because their goals, I feel like, could not be more different. Tales of Arise is such a cozy game. You are going to spend so much time sitting around a campfire listening to your party talk. And I feel like with a JRPG that could be really hit and miss, because like, you know, unsurprisingly, a lot of JRPGs have a tendency to be very anime, and I would say Tales of Arise definitely is. Like, this is a game by and for people who consume a lot of anime, and It's interesting though because like there's points of it where I was like, okay, this is fucking stupid. Like one of the first things that happens is like you open up in like a big slave complex, a big fantasy fiery mine where slaves have to mine, and you have all these like kind of ridiculous shots of slaves pushing these just absolutely gigantic mine carts, and it's like, oh, this is kind of stupid. Like surely there has to be a more efficient way to push these mine carts from point A to point B. Like this is just making a strong visual and makes no sense in terms of like this lore or this civilization. And so I was like, okay. But then you discover that, and like this isn't a big spoiler or anything, that it doesn't actually matter what the slaves are doing, because this is like a magical race of people with magic inside them, and the only way to get the magic out is to basically exhaust them where their essence gets absorbed by this big fucking other thing. And so I was like, okay, fair enough, you kind of got me. And I feel like the more and more I play this game, the more and more that happens, where like something might feel a little tropey and a little shitty, and then the game like justifies it in a good way. And I think like the two main characters are a really good example of that. The Alphen is like, he's a good boy, he's a nice man, he wants to help people. And then Shin is a tsundere, but they're both well written, good versions of those things. Like they both have a very developed worldview. They both have a perspective on how things should be and things in their life that made them like that. And what's enjoyable is that even in very minor things like cooking, that writing is super consistent with them the whole time. Like when Shin talks about cooking, her kind of defensive, spiky personality comes through in that, and how she describes her recipes and how how she reacts to other people criticizing her recipes, you know? And that side of it's like, it's just good. Like it's like, okay, cool, it's fun to spend time with these characters. Whenever a little optional cutscene like comes up, you can hit R1 or you can just ignore it. I hit R1 every time, and I sit there and I listen to my friends talk, and it's nice. The combat is like, it's quite like Tales of Berseria, but with Tales of Berseria, I felt like I never quite clicked with that combat. I was never really sure what they were asking me to do, and I don't know what it is, if they've just streamlined it a bit more, if they explained it a bit better, or I just understand it now, but like, what Tales of Arise kind of feels like is a very slow Platinum game. And it's like, everything, like you basically bind particular attacks to a button, and so it's like, okay, I'm going to use this attack first because this is a lot of hits, and what that might do is it might put my enemy into stun. After that, I'm going to use this attack, which is going to like knock them into the air, and then from there I can use this really cool air combo, and then I can use this other air attack to like smash them down, at which point I can call in an assist. So you're actually doing this nearly like anime fighter-esque shit where you're like waiting for all your cooldowns and lining up all your characters.
Yeah, it's very slow step-by-step combo.
Yeah, really slow. Like you know, in Marvel, something like this would take like 3 seconds, and you're watching it like happen over the course of 10 seconds. But you're getting that same like
you're like building those blocks.
You're building that flowchart, and it's actually really accessible and interesting. And I'm told the combat opens up a lot more till then, but I'm enjoying it. You know, like, for the two JRPGs I am playing, they could not be going for more different experiences. And it's interesting because, like, you know, this is like they're both like multiple entries and decades into what they do, and they both have a very good idea of what they do. Also, Tales of Arise is beautiful as well.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
It's so nice, and I got an LG OLED, and it's a really nice game to make you appreciate that. Like, the environments and the character models they're just great. And so I'm having a really good time with it. I don't know which I prefer. I kind of go back and forth between which I like. I think I don't know. I go back and forth between that and Shin Megami Tensei, and I have a feeling that I'm going to have to cut one of them before the other at Game of the Year, so that'll be interesting. But they're both good games. JRPGs are doing all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bryan.
Yeah.
How about we go to Quicktime Events? It's the news time.
Quicktime Events.
Quicktime. Josef Ferris, It Takes Two, hit by Take-Two claim.
Yeah, this is seemingly this happened before the game came out, but Take-Two trademarked the name. Came after them because of the name, because of their trademark for Take-Two.
Because the game came out in spring, didn't it?
Yeah. So Hazelight, who owns It Takes Two, can't do anything more with the name, kind of thing. I don't think they're going to change it or anything, but they probably are not going to keep this going as a series under that title because they can't trademark it. And it's just an example of Take-Two being extremely aggressive with trademark. Like, I know that they've closed down, or would like to close down. They went after tattoo shops that have had Rockstar in the name, and just stuff that's completely outside of gaming and stuff like that.
I hate
They'd
that
probably
shit.
go after the energy drink as well. Yeah, it is just a AAA game studio being a bully.
Yeah, just flexing, and it just sucks. Like, It Takes Two is a good and fun little game, and it's sucky that something like that title works for that game, and it just sucks that Take-Two would just kind of go for it.
Totally. PlayStation reportedly taking on Xbox Game Pass with new subscription service in spring 2022.
Yeah.
I read an interesting caveat with this in that it's going to be like an Xbox Game Pass, except no first-party titles are going to be available.
So, like, nothing like
Or,
it.
well, new first-party titles. So, like, you know the way, like I'm going to play Halo next week because I have Game Pass and fuck it, why not? That will not be the case with, like, Last of Us 3.
Well, then, yeah, it sounds like when the PS5 launched and it had, like,
all
the best of. And I know PlayStation, like, since the first console, have done a Platinum Collection where once a game sells a certain amount, it kind of gets semi-retired into kind of, it gets reduced in price and it's more available, I guess.
That's what they used to do, but now it's Director's Cut where they put it up higher and they
it
add in
is.
some DLC.
Now you gotta pay more.
Yeah.
I think PS Plus and like I know there was the whole thing about the Nintendo Switch Online and their expansion pack and how badly received that was.
Oh yeah,
and I agree with it. It's not good.
Most disliked video in YouTube history.
Yeah, that they've had to change the dislike thing sort of because of it.
Can we pause for a second? What do you guys think of that? Getting rid of the dislike button.
I don't know.
People vote with.
It's weird seeing it now, like, there, because you obviously see all the likes and you just see dislike and you're like, well, that means nothing to me now. I don't know, like, it was good for a quick glance before you watch something, and now you don't have that context.
Yeah.
It's like, how shit is this video?
From like a creator standpoint, like, I don't really care, like, I don't really give a shit, but also I know that like other creators get targeted in shitty ways, and so I think that's fair. But then it's tricky because then I think of like, there's stuff where it's like, oh, if someone really gets something wrong, or like there's a really fucking bad take or something, it is good to be like, oh, immediately I can tell this isn't very credible.
Yeah, I guess it is. Like, I don't think this is to benefit small creators who, like, that option gets like abused on them. I think it's like to benefit people like putting out a shitty game trailer.
Yeah, I think this serves large corporations and like,
it protects a big machine.
If small creators are getting harassed, I can promise you that like a shitty dislike bar is the very least of their concern. Okay. Yeah. Game on.
No, anyway, I just wanted to say that the PS Plus, especially this year, has not been good. The selection of games has been incredibly poor. I don't think there's been barely any Japanese games. There used to be Japanese games, but now it's Western games. But like this year, it's the kind of games where it's like the Plants vs. Zombie spin-offs. That's the kind of game. And like, that's not a knock on whether those games are good or bad. It's just that's the standard that Sony is putting out as part of their monthly PS Plus subscription.
Did you see the stuff with Godfall as well? That it's like end game stuff. Like, it isn't the campaign with the narrative. It's like,
what?
Yeah, it's just
It's
like
a different version of it.
Yeah, it's a different version where you have like max like items and weapons.
Why?
And like just so you're like killing bosses, and if you want the narrative, you have to pay for it, I guess.
That's
But it is a
stupid,
stripped
Niamh.
back weird version of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I just think Game Pass is kicking Sony and Nintendo's ass. And
Game Pass, it rules. I haven't even played that much on Game Pass. I just love having it.
And I think this is a good thing. I really like competition between different brands because the consumer gets the benefit. So hopefully this is good.
Yeah. Halo subreddit closed to give toxic gamers a timeout.
That's
Niamh,
brilliant.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about this at all.
So you know the way I was saying the progression on Halo is like it's not the best. Like XP is tied to challenges and it's extremely slow. I thought that wasn't great. Most people who reviewed it thought it wasn't great. A lot of people are fucking going bananas over it. Like just upset, angry, pissed off. The subreddit had to close because of the toxicity of it all. There's death threats. There's just the Halo multiplayer, like it plays well. Like it is what people wanted this to be.
And it's nearly 20 years old, that player base.
And it's just like, it's really disappointing that people's issues are the cosmetics and it's like, and the progression stuff. And it's like, they said they would fix it. You know, like they said, we hear you. They made a quick fix, but they also said, we're giving our staff some time off for Christmas. We will fix this and we hear you. And still these people are just like...
It is a bit weird, like, because with some stuff like that, like, to a point I understand it. Like, it sounds like it could be better from stuff that you've explained to me. Like, yeah, this could be better. But also, like, you know, if I can play the game, I'm okay. Yeah. You know, like if I enjoy playing a fighting game, I'm gonna play it because I enjoy playing it.
And the fact that people are still so vitriolically upset about it, it just undercuts what they're saying.
Like, yeah, because I feel like everything else coming out about that game has been so positive.
Yeah, it's just really disappointing. It reminds me of the Genshin Impact stuff that happened this year as well, where they were really upset about the kind of stuff that they did or didn't get for an event. It was like their 1 year anniversary and gamers expected a lot of free shit, and they kind of did this shitty thing where a lot of the gifts were tied to social media giveaways. So obviously people were pissed, but then that just went overboard and they started review bombing the game, but then review bombing other games to make a point.
I didn't think Halo would have such a like fan base, because I figured that would just be kind of like something like Forza or something, where it's just like a different demographic of older people.
Well, that it feels like a real clash between older and young people, because I feel like a lot of people don't think the cosmetics are enough, that they're too simple. But it's like, but they look like Halo. And then a lot of people are like, I think that a big criticism is like, we have to pay for stuff that was in the like Halo 5 for free. And it's like, yes, but now it is a free-to-play game, and this is how they're doing it. And it is not like, it isn't a continuation of 5. You don't get the stuff you've had in 5 again.
Yeah.
You know, it's like...
Yeah. It's a different game.
It's a different game now.
Yeah. Sounds complicated. Or very simple, I don't know.
A bit of both.
It's messy, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Dungeons and Fighters character trailers that have been coming out.
DNF Duel.
DNF Duel, and wow, I am excited for this game.
It's the new Arc System Works fighting game.
Yeah, Niamh, I'm gonna play you a little trailer for a guy who I think's, if you did play fighting games, he'd be very your speed.
I like him.
He's a ranger and he uses guns. Every single character that has come out for this game, it's like 5 characters out at the moment. 4 of them I would consider maining, this dude included. This game looks fucking incredible.
There's a grappler in it that is kind of like John if things were way worse. And better.
I think better. Oh my god, I think he looks amazing.
Oh no, but like, you know, like he's scarred to fuck.
He's scar. He has the same scar on his nose I do. He has the guts scar. Hang on,
that looks pretty good.
I'll show you the graphic.
It was an anime cowboy in a big long red coat.
Kind of lavender. It's very nice.
Yeah. A velvet man.
Here's the grappler, Niamh.
Oh my god, it is just you.
Yeah.
It kind of is, you know. And I was like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah. This is a slick looking game.
Yeah, it
looks
just
good.
looks great. I'm just gonna loot drop this entire channel and all these trailers later because they bring me such joy. His name is Grappler. The girl's name is Striker. That's all you need to know. That's everything you need to know about these characters, and I'm really excited. Emails.
Just before we get into the emails, I just wanted to say, alongside with Arc System Works, their new character, Happy Chaos. He's cool. He's from Ireland.
I didn't know he was from Ireland until you said it to me.
I checked the Guilty Gear wiki and it does say his country of origin is Ireland, even though he's from the backyard as well.
Oh, we lost Henry, but we gained Happy Chaos.
Yeah, and then Biken just got announced for January.
I saw, yeah.
So I'm Arc System Works continue to be amazing.
You put hands on Happy Chaos at all?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
He's fine. He's cool.
He's weird. He does not play like anyone else in that game.
Because he's marked down as an easy to play as character, but like, what?
Yeah,
there's so much strategy
I was
to
like,
him.
okay, cool. He's easy to play, and then I opened him up, and I was like, wait, what does his heavy do?
Yeah, he's a strange guy.
Guy.
Anyway, yeah. Sorry, emails. Now, we have an email address. Niamh's going to say it.
Sorry, I'm reading about this guy's personality.
Is there a select passage?
Happy Chaos's original personality is largely unknown, but he is a man who became overwhelmed by the complete knowledge of the universe, seemingly losing his sanity and becoming a universally pure being.
That weird guy I follow on Facebook's kind of like that.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like that. That he. I bet he loves Happy Chaos.
He's definitely tapped into some sort of human potential that we could only imagine.
Yeah, for sure. He's got all the data.
Oh wait, our email.
That's askletsfightaboss@gmail.com. Thanks, Niamh.
Thank you, Niamh.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Happy Chaos. Okay, I have some emails here.
Okay.
If you were to...
Why don't we read them on the podcast?
That'd be a great idea, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Bye.
Patreon shout out.
No, okay. This one is from Chad. And dude straight up called Chad. Fucking brilliant.
Nice.
Okay, hey, Bryan, Niamh, and Joho. Long-time listener and fan, first-time emailer. Okay.
How was it? Okay, great as email for the first time.
So
first timer now.
So far, so good for first-timer.
Okay.
I just want to say I laughed so damn hard while driving home from a gig tonight and listening to the podcast. Never before have I felt that I had a line in the podcast directly pointed at me until tonight. Okay.
What did we say?
What did we say?
I don't know, but there's some context, but I don't... Okay, context. I make my living as a musician in the US. My go-to karaoke song is I Believe in a Thing Called Love.
Oh.
By the...
Darkness.
The Darkness,
yes.
Yeah. I am not in one, but two joke bands. Oakley Dokley, a Ned Flanders themed metal band.
You're an Oakley Dokley? I've encountered Oakley Dokley on my travels.
Really?
Yeah, I think I was this close into putting him in the Simpsons video a while back. Maybe? I have definitely... That is wild.
Well, there you go. John and Chad have previously clashed.
Yeah, I have come across this person.
And then the other band is Mac Sabbath, which is a Black Sabbath cover band that dresses up as Monsanto mutated McDonald's characters.
Wait, if
that is fucking awesome.
So wait, the members of Oakley Dokley are Head Ned, Shred Ned, Zed Ned, and Dread Ned.
Wow. This is awesome.
So in short, I am riding two joke bands all the way to the bank until people get over the novelty of both of these. How could people get... These are fucking brilliant.
Yeah, for sure.
And we got a lovely thank you here, and you're welcome in return. But here are the two questions. What is each...
Like, this guy has, Oakley Dokley, White Wine Spritzer, official video, 8 million views.
Oh, you're too much of a person to listen to this.
Yeah, come on, dude.
You've got something, dude, come on. Yeah. All right, okay. What is each of your go-to karaoke songs?
I think we've talked about this a little before.
I know you like House of the Rising Sun.
Yeah.
Madonna, Like a Prayer. Like, I belted out all my Catholic rage and anger and
I don't know if I've seen you sing that, but I would love to.
We sang Living La Vida Loca together, and that was very
That was
good.
pretty good.
I like Chumbawamba's The Thumpin'.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I like Corin's Freak on a Leash.
Me and you have done Freak on a Leash before.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty good.
I like Limp Bizkit's Hot Dog. And then Rebecca likes to sing Limp Bizkit's Break Stuff, and it is much better than my rendition of Limp Bizkit's Hot Dog.
Big fan of Toxicity.
Yes. Toxicity and Chop Suey are both a lot of fun.
Toxicity, I think, is easier to sing than Chop Suey. Chop Suey is very difficult.
It's very fast.
Yeah.
You run out of breath right away.
Yeah. I mean, this is my answer for so many things. Fucking anything that was on Krang back in the day. Just Give it to me.
I like All Star by Smash Mouth. That's fun.
I don't
You
know.
ought to know, Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, Alanis has to be in there.
Good stuff.
Did that documentary ever come out?
It did, but she disowned it instantly. I haven't seen it though. I'm curious.
I'm gonna watch that over Christmas because the fact that it has like a problem around it makes it.
You love that.
Oh yeah. I'm like, because I feel bad for her, but like, I'm sorry, Alanis. I know you listen to us too, but you know, I need to know, girl. I'm sorry.
I can't believe someone from Oakley Dokley listens. That's fucking crazy.
All the Oakley Dokley members have like mustaches. Do you keep it just for the band?
Yeah, how's that work?
Yeah.
What a fantastic first email.
Okay. What do you listen to when doing long drives or flights?
Grimes, seemingly. Grimes was my most played in my Spotify Wrapped, and I was like, how did that happen?
That's
Really?
a problematic fave. That's great.
It's like she's like well,
music's
I've
great.
been there since Art Angels. Like she got problematic later.
Yeah, she got real late in
like
2018
Grimes, yeah.
When
she
Grimes
was going.
was cool, I saw her live and she was great. Although, Jesus, Brian, that was a fucking weird show. Do you remember?
The one in 2016 that was
Oh
fucked.
my god.
Why? What happened?
She kept getting electrocuted.
but like the way the electrocution sounded, it sounded like snaps, but it sounded like gunshots.
So it would literally,
and I thought
it would literally, she'd be like, you know, singing like "Kill Miami" or whatever that song is, and then like three-quarters of the song, she'd just go, "Ow!" She'd go like "fuck," and the song would stop, and everyone would stop playing, and she'd be like, "It keeps electrocuting me," and it happened like three or four times. It was so, I felt, and you know what? She still kind of killed it.
she did.
But it was really tough to watch.
Because apparently the way a lot of live musicians, I'm sure Chad can confirm, but they will have a feedback of just their own voice so that they know that they're in sync with the music. But she had to do it, I guess, not blind, but she had to kind of do it straight that way afterwards, where she couldn't hear her own feedback because whatever way the frequency, and because it was in the Olympia, which is a very old building.
I was gonna ask, where the fuck was this? Of course it was the
No,
Olympia.
The Olympia has bad
I think
electricity.
she did say afterwards the problem was actually on her own equipment's end as opposed to the Olympia, in fairness. But Jesus, that was a weird, like, towards the end I was like, I don't want to watch her die.
Well, since 2018, we kind of have watched her kind of on a slow decline, unfortunately.
She's free now. She's still stuck in his castle, but she's free.
Guys, Elon Musk has some good ideas. I don't think that. I think Elon, he's such a slug.
I was shown a video of her TikTok and it was her kind of going like, okay guys, debate me, and someone in the comments, because I was shown it by Rebecca, she was saying, she was reading in the comments, it was just like, you're like one of those girls that broke up with her boyfriend and now she's trying to enter back into the friend group and nobody wants you.
No, let her back in.
See, that's not. I want to like her again, and I don't know if I'm there.
She's gonna have to earn her new song isn't good.
Oh my god, her new song's so embarrassing, and I can't believe like I admitted like my Grimes addiction for her to release a song about loving a gamer who's too into being the best gamer to love her back. No. And I was like, whoa.
So she's just going straight up e-girl.
Yeah, 100%. Anyway, I listen to a lot of Grimes because it's very easy listening and she makes good music.
So my 1 and 2 most listened to albums this year were number 1, the entirety of the Tekken soundtrack, number 2, Silent Hill 2. Okay, but look, actually, you know, I want to make a little addendum to something we were talking about before. Do you remember before how I jokingly said that Limp Bizkit have reawoken my love of music?
Yes.
That's true.
They're very talented musicians.
Did you just say I hate you, Niamh? Because that is fair.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, that's all right. So since I got done with Limp Bizkit Still Sucks, I have began listening to music albums again.
Good.
I have listened to 3. I listen to them on my runs, so I take 1 a week and I listen to it 3 times. So now I've listened to 4 albums this year 3 times. And that is more albums than I've experienced in the last 10 years.
Well, but that means if you have 3 favorite albums from this year, you've got them.
Yeah. Oh, I'm feeling I was not going to tell you guys this. I'm filling all my slots with wrestling shit.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like for me with any long flights or anything like that, it's just some whatever chill wave playlist thing. I don't use Spotify. I use Apple Music. I'm that one person who uses Apple Music.
So you didn't get it wrapped?
Nope.
Did you feel left out?
No.
In fairness, I listen to all my music on YouTube. I think that's why
YouTube's
my
great for
Spotify
music.
was so fucked, because it was Grimes and then it was Miley, which definitely I thought she should be first. But the third one was a guy's song from Cam Music for Dogs, because I play that for my dog when I leave the house. So I was just like, I do not listen to enough music on Spotify.
Yeah.
When I'm traveling, a lot of the time I'll listen to an audiobook. I listened to Matthew McConaughey's autobiography recently.
Yeah, you were telling me about it.
Yeah, it's fucking great. Like, that dude's a liar.
Yeah.
but he wrote a good autobiography. Especially if you learn to just zone out for like the kind of 3 or 4 pages of like true detective philosophy pontificating that come every 30 pages or so. But then he has some fucking amazing anecdotes. Like, he went and lived with this family in Australia, and the dad was so fucking weird. There's a bit where the dad's like, you're gonna cook for us Saturday, and Matthew McConaughey's like, he's really enthusiastic and stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, you know what I'm gonna make? Good old American hamburgers. And then there's a pause, and he goes, actually no, you know what I'm gonna make? Cheeseburgers. The man who invented hamburgers, he was smart. But the man who invented cheeseburgers, he was a genius. And then there's a silence, and this dad, the Australian dad, is like, Matthew, could I talk to you in my office for a moment? And so Matthew McConaughey goes down, and he sits down with this Australian dad, and the dad just like, there's a moment of silence, and then he just goes, hey Matthew, what you said about cheeseburgers, that's just your opinion. And it's great. It's really weird. What were we talking about?
Books.
Yeah.
And music.
Also read some David Foster Wallace. Now I know what all the white, middle-aged male games journalists are trying to write.
Oh yeah. Have you watched the movie where Jason Segel plays him?
No.
End of Tour, I think that's what it's called. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this man before.
He was a writer in the 90s who unfortunately passed away.
If you ever hear a writer use the phrase writ large, they were very into David Foster Wallace, I would bet.
Yeah. Certainly a style of writing. Okay.
Do you like him, Bryan?
I'm interested in him. I don't know if I like him.
He's a good writer. Like,
yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you, Chad. That was a great email.
Okay, I got this one here from Adam. We got some lightning fast questions. We haven't done one of these in a while. Gonna do them so slow for you, Adam. Like, the butter is gonna melt.
Yeah.
Okay. To Eye Patch Wolf, Fallen Dog, and Spiky Hog. Here are some quick ones. Love the stuff you make.
Those are fucking amazing names for you two.
Fallen Dog would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Spiky Hog, little guy. Spiky. Okay. 1. What would each of your devil arms be?
A banana that
What?
peels back.
What's
So-
a devil arm?
This is from Devil May Cry
Yeah,
5.
Devil May Cry,
What's
God.
his name? The guy's nephew?
Nero.
Nero,
Okay.
His
yeah.
arm.
Neve, it's been like a year. What is that? A
You
shooter?
like this game?
You were the one who loved it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm not sure I
Okay,
played that.
okay. So, what's Nero's modification arm specificity to you?
Bananas.
Is it a banana launcher? Is it just banana fingers?
Banana fingers would be creepier, so I kind of want that. So it's just like I can like maybe caress someone's face with my banana
And it
fingers.
leaves juice.
Yeah, like you know that like kind of like what it's like cottony feeling of a banana.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That dry feeling of a banana when they're peeled. That on your face.
Oh, that texture.
Yeah. But that wouldn't be very useful.
I might upset
Doesn't
someone.
have to be useful. The fucking the tripwire in that game not useful. No, I think it was.
There was actually, before someone says it in the comments, there was actually a Banana Devil Arm DLC.
Was there?
Yeah, I put it in my banana thread.
Sweet.
So that's how I
What
know
about you,
that.
Bryan?
What would my devil arm be?
Apples.
Apples, no. I want to shoot dog food at people, but I want it still in the can.
That's pretty good.
And like, that shit's gonna fucking hurt when it hits you.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
also, there's a chance it might explode and get smelly everywhere.
And if you have a dog, you can feed him.
Yeah, and so it's cool because you can do a combo with the dog because there's a dog,
So your devil
AI.
arm is also a dog.
No, there's a dog AI system and it can
No,
kinda-
Brian, it has to be part of your arm.
Which is now Angelo Renoa's dog launcher move.
Brian, I will give you that a lead extends out from the arm and hooks on a dog off screen and pulls the dog in.
Like a carrot on a stick.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Dog food and dog. The dog goes to town.
How about... Oh, a hand that sprays tarantulas.
That would be incredibly upsetting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like imagine you were like, you have to go over there and beat the shit out of this person. They're not very strong. They don't know any martial arts, and like they get tired really easily. But their hand sprays tarantulas. I would shit myself.
What is that from Final Fantasy VIII?
Yeah, she shoots her dog.
Yeah, it's cool.
Fuck, that's a launch. I'd love if, because I watched Home Alone again last night, and I loved the bit where he puts the tarantula on the wet bandit's face and he does like the shrillest scream.
Yeah,
I think that's like the funniest noise a human has ever made. But I'd love to hear that whenever someone gets a tarantula thrown at them.
I'm really excited this year because I didn't watch Jingle All the Way last year.
Oh yeah,
So
you
I
gotta
get to watch
savor
it
it.
this year. I'm so fucking pumped.
I remember watching it one year with my cousins who didn't know when Arnold Schwarzenegger was, because they were like two 10-year-old girls, and the bit where he's like, Jamie! And they were like, what's wrong with that man? And I'm like,
Because we just accept him.
and we're like, oh, he's from Austria. And they're like, but this movie takes place in Chicago.
Yeah, and he lives with like the most normal family.
and I was like, yeah, he's an all-American guy from Austria. And they were like, what? And I was like, it's the American dream. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the American dream.
He's a car salesman.
No, he's a mattress salesman.
Mattress
And
salesman.
he's like, you're my favorite customer.
Yeah.
And then there's that deleted scene, but it was in the TV version, but not in the movie version, where his wife at the very end goes, that was amazing what you did for Jamie today. I can't wait to see what you got me for Christmas. And then he does he mugs the camera because he's like, oh shit.
Wait, that was only the TV version?
Yeah, because
Huh.
he didn't get his wife a Christmas present either.
I think that's become like the canon version.
Oh yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
That's definitely been the last couple of times I've watched that.
It's such a good ending.
Oh, it's a great movie. What was the question?
Number 2, what's your thing to cook? Like, what's your household staple? Egg fried rice and whatever thing is lying around.
Lately I've been doing a salmon pasta.
Whoa.
It's nice.
I've cooked a steak every week for 6 years. Pretty good at it at this point.
Every week.
Every week.
And what's your oh wait, no, for you it's like lightly, like you want it still beating,
So you
bloody as hell.
get the steak, you take it out an hour before you cook it, so it gets to like room temperature. Right before you put it in, you just dash some sauce on there. No oil, no nothing, no seasoning. Don't fuck with the meat. Just let the meat be the meat. Put the salty side down on it. Cook it for maybe a minute, minute and a half. Depends how thick your steak is. It's going to be different for all thickness. You have to feel it. It has to be an instinctual thing. There's no way you can just do it easily. Then salt on the other side. Flip that shit real quick. Minute and a half. Again, got to feel it out. Get it up. Put it on your plate. Eat it within 10 minutes.
Do you cook any sides with it?
The side will be prepared at this point because like this is the last thing I'm doing for the meal because the steak cooks so quickly.
What kind of
That's true,
sides do you
yeah.
have?
I really like to do some carrots drizzled with oil and sprinkled with rosemary and cooked
Whoa.
for about 30 or 40 minutes.
It's pretty good.
That's
Oven
pretty good.
roasted.
Bombay potatoes are also really nice with it. Bombay potatoes can kind of soak up some of the juices and that's really good. So it depends, but yeah.
Put some honey on your carrots before you roast them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll give that a go.
Okay, number 3. Who would be in your dream blunt rotation? Alive, dead, fictional, or real?
Wait,
Snap, crackle, and pop.
This is your passing a blunt around outside in the balcony.
okay.
So
Niamh and Bryan.
Oh.
that's sweet. Niamh.
Oh,
Full stop. No, that's me. Okay, no,
It's not a rotation.
no, it's
it's just you and Niamh. Bryan.
Adam has written the devil's lettuce, the jazzy herbs, and some sticky Vicky. Are these just different strains of weed?
I think they're just nicknames for weed, Brian.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, who would I have? I want the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I feel like there'd be you'd get involved in like a bunch of weird drama and tension.
They're gonna be really wet on that roach.
Yeah, that's
They don't have lips.
And Leonardo's going to be such a narc. He's going to be like, should we be doing this, guys? What if Master Splinter? And then Raphael's going to get really pissed off about it because he gets so weird when he gets high.
Okay, I want Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, and
I would never party with Crash.
I want Tomba.
I feel like Crash is the kind of person you invite if you want the night to get really bad and weird.
I want Spyro because at one point the blunt goes out and Spyro's like, I'll reignite it. Fucking good.
Okay, Rouge the Bat, Knuckles, and Shadow. All hard motherfuckers like me.
Nice. I just want to pick a mascot character. Their mouths are just it's too big.
Yeah.
They just wet that whole thing.
I wouldn't share a blunt with Donkey Kong.
No.
He'd eat it.
He'd be another one where I'd be worried about what his reaction to weed would be.
Oh no, he's fine with the chronic.
I mean, like Funky Kong.
I think Funky Kong would be like, I don't know about that, bro. Like,
Are you Brian? What are you doing?
Yeah, why do you think he's called Funky?
I think
He wears he
I-
wears
I-
a funky bandana.
okay, I honestly think Funky's straight edge. He doesn't dabble. He's high on life.
I don't want to believe that.
But think about it.
I mean, he's got a point, Niamh.
Yeah.
Like, he has youth Christian energy.
Oh no.
No, I don't. No. That's you took it too far. I believe that. I believe that Funky Kong would get drug-free tattooed on his knuckles. I don't believe that he would. No, I don't think he's down with the Christ.
I think he got in a fight and he quit, but he still has the tattoo of the crucifix on his back, and he doesn't want to show it.
Do you think he has the 10 Commandments on his titties?
He has them on his forehead. That's why he wears a bandana and the shades. He's got face tattoos. He's got to cover that shit up.
So there's a guy who works in a shop I go to sometimes, and I don't know what his face looks like because he wears a face mask the entire time. But recently I was there and he kind of pulled it down and scratched his face. Fucking face tattoo. I was so
Sweet.
shocked.
It's
Little
probably
yin yang.
It's probably a lot easier working in retail because I know that's always a big no-no in the hiring process. But like with the face tattoos and face masks, you wouldn't know.
One of my favorite baristas stopped working there, and I'm kind of shocked.
Oh no.
Yeah. Never saw their actual face. How weird is that?
Yeah. Strange times we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then the final question. Twitter has only ever crashed twice. During the death of Michael Jackson, really? In 2009? Okay, and the release of Minecraft Steve in Smash Brothers.
Oh my god.
That was like a year and a bit ago.
Yeah.
Okay, what video game announcement could crash at a third? So Michael Jackson is in the video game. Okay. So another video game announcement.
He died in the metaverse, Brian, so he died in real life.
Could crash at a
Do
third.
you mean Michael Jackson, protagonist of Moonwalker, the video game?
That is true.
Yeah.
Name redacted from Sonic Tree. What video game announcement would crash it a third time? It'd have to be some like, I don't know, Jeff Keighley getting cancelled or some shit like that would probably break it.
No, I don't think enough people know who Jeff would know. Like I know we know Jeff Keighley. I know a lot of people know Jeff Keighley, but there's a wider audience who don't give a fuck.
Miyamoto getting cancelled would shit the fucking.
I don't think that would crash Twitter.
No, maybe Miyamoto dying.
Miyamoto dying.
I don't think that would crash Twitter. I don't know.
Because I think you gotta keep in mind how many children know who Minecraft Steve is.
Yeah.
What could it be like a famous Let's Player doing something?
Ninja dies.
If Ninja died, would that break Twitter? Break Twitch?
I don't mean this to sound really mean, but not anymore.
Yeah, because like I was gonna say something like Notch, but that guy doesn't matter anymore either.
No.
It's weird how like, because like with the internet it moves so fast. Like what's present and contemporary? Like something Fortnite related. Kids
Yeah.
love Fortnite. So what if Fortnite just stopped working for 24 hours and people just whinged on Twitter? Would that work?
Maybe.
That could do it. Okay. They're making a new Smash Brothers game and Logan Paul is directing it.
Oh, I think I'd tweet.
Yeah, there you go.
Not happy about that.
What else we got, Brian?
Oh, this one was interesting. This one is from Eamon, and it's River Style Reboot. Oh, sorry. I'll try that again. This one is from Eamon. Riverdale Style Reboot.
Okay.
Hey, Bosscast. If you could do a Riverdale Style reboot of any franchise, TV, games, books, movies, so on and so forth, complete with all the teen drama and the wild plot swerves, which would you choose and why?
Street Fighter, because I hate myself.
Eamon says here, personally, I want a show called Springfield, where Bart, Lisa, Milhouse, and Nelson spend a season trying to find out who shot Mr. Burns. And also, Eamon is the person who gave us brownies that time at wrestling.
Oh.
So, thank you, Eamon.
That is amazing. There is actually a webcomic out right now about Bart and Lisa and Milhouse and Nelson as teenagers, and I haven't read it, but I hear it's great.
I'd like Married with Children. Like, what would that be?
Do you know, there was always like a sinister heart to Married with Children that I think could be really fun to explore.
And yeah, there was a weird mystery as well, because sometimes it would be really, really cartoony, and you'd be like, but why?
Yeah.
Okay, so TVs, books, games, movies. What's like a good game that could do a Riverdale style reboot? Like Earthbound, what would that be?
Oh, Brian, stop.
That'd fuck you up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that I don't know that you could fuck me up worse than that. Like, you see, the tempting answer is Silent Hill, but I think to look at what that would be like, you just have to look at the later Silent Hill games.
I'd love a Metal Gear, but like original Metal Gear Solid, like set in Alaska, but like just teen drama to the max, because it's already got the ass pull plot twists.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to stack that up. Niamh, have you got anything?
I don't know, but Kojima is getting into movies and TV. So
It's the same as making games.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
No. It was like Buffy.
I was thinking about Buffy,
Yeah.
but I feel like... I wonder, does Buffy hold up?
I don't know. Very quickly, the OC does not hold up.
Oh?
It got very bad very quickly.
No, really?
Yeah, you know the way I was just like, wow, they get through a lot of content. They burnt through all their good content halfway through season 1, and then then the rest of season 2 is them doing the first half of season 1 again, but worse, and everyone has abandoned all morals, and all the 2000s problems of early TV come right on in.
Nice.
Okay, the film Mean Girls. What would a reboot of that be like done in the style?
Oh, that feels like
Riverdale?
it could happen. That
Yeah.
totally feels like.
I feel like they did some kind of like Mean Girls
Did they?
second movie or something. I feel like that could happen, but that movie is still just kind of perfect.
Yeah,
it is.
Weirdly, just so on point with everything it's doing.
How about Back to the Future? What would that be like?
I'll just wait like 3 or 4 years. We'll find out.
Yeah. It's like a pity because a good answer to this is like The Craft, but then they made that terrible new Craft movie.
They did, yeah.
It's like they're already burning through all the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Have either of you seen the Faculty movie?
Yeah,
horror movie?
I like that movie a lot.
It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
It's good.
They could. Well, it has its moments, but mostly very good. Has some issues.
Okay.
To rephrase, when I watched that movie when I was 14, I thought it was pretty rad. Just like The Hole.
I have. Oh my god.
The Hole is...
Whole. That movie's fucked.
Like an hour of The Hole is an unreliable narrator just lying to you, and so it's a trip.
I need to watch that movie again because I remember thinking it was the coolest fucking thing ever.
I remember watching it at sleepover and everyone just really being depressed for the whole night afterwards.
Okay.
Oh,
And
that was the movie I'd bring people to my room when I lived with my parents and be like, we should watch The Hole. I think I did that to you, Brian.
I've seen The Hole many a time. American Pie, what would that look like? Because like those films have aged very, very badly. Yeah. It's quite unfortunate because I enjoy it, a teenage sex comedy, but most of them are borderline awful now.
Okay, let's do a Riverdale style reboot of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think that'd be pretty good. CW Always Sunny. You get a little mystery in there, a little romance. Be great.
But like it still has Danny DeVito.
Yeah, Danny DeVito plays Danny DeVito. The rest of the cast are replaced with people in their 20s playing teenagers.
I think it'd be so funny if they didn't change anything about Danny DeVito, Frank Reynolds. Like he's the exact, and he's like, "What the fuck are you kids doing?"
Okay, I think we got it.
Thank you for those emails. That last one, sorry, was from Eamon. Yes, thank you, Eamon.
Thank you, Eamon. You're not going to say thanks to Eamon, Niamh.
Thanks, Eamon. You didn't give me a brownie.
No, you didn't, Eamon. Where is it? Huh?
They were so good.
They were. And I'm so glad they weren't laced with drugs. Or
Me
were
too. I don't know.
they? No, well,
There's no way to tell now.
he says here that they were just good, clean brownies.
Okay.
Patreon shoutouts.
Patreon shoutouts.
We are tired and it doesn't matter anymore, but it needs to matter for a tiny bit longer.
Okay,
because
look. I'm just going to get into it here, and I'm just going to say, this is going to get a little fucked up. It's going to get a little morbid. Someday we're all going to die.
that's why you need to
Someday,
open the wallet.
Everyone listening to this podcast and everyone on it going to breathe our last breaths. Now, do you know what's wrong, Brian? Brian, I promise I'm going somewhere here, okay?
I guess we could have.
Do you know what I would never want? I would never want one of our listeners to be on their deathbed and their final thought to be, I should have subscribed to the Let's Fight a Boss Patreon. Imagine their all their loved ones, all their fantastic memories, and that's what comes to the surface.
I should have just pledged those $3
I should have just
a month.
pledged those $3 a month, and they got access to an amazing Discord. And know that they put a little smile on little Niamh's face, little Brian's face, and little John's face.
And to listen to the back catalogue, because if this is your first episode and you've been lying to yourself this whole time,
Yeah.
you have to listen to the early episodes where we fucked up so much.
So just don't do that to yourself. Don't sink into that sweet abyss wondering what could have been. And look, I don't want to get too real. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You could die.
Someone died and you need to step up and pay up to an Irish video game podcast Patreon website.
Patreon.com/LFAB.
You could die.
And I just want to say, I just want to wish everyone a terrific rest of your life for however long that might be. And I hope you make some good decisions in that time.
Happy Christmas. Could be your last one.
Happy Christmas, maybe.
Why is that such an intense pitch?
Yeah, I've had this one cooking for a while. Oh, loot drop.
No, we have to read the shout out.
Oh.
Now listen as we die inside.
Yeah.
These are from the end of 2019, so these are
Okay.
24 months old. The first one is for John.
You know what? You bet the first one is for John, and he's so excited to read it because it says Hollow Knight, Luigi's No, sorry, that's that was my strategy talk from 3 weeks ago. I'd like John to whinny like a horse. Okay. Well, I think if that's what they wanted, they should have said star John whinnies like a horse, close star, because this is just me reading that out. So best of luck in 2 more years from McFearless.
Oh.
Mark the Ginger one said, still waiting for Nib's bird book.
Oh.
You're going to be waiting a really long time. Brian decimated me so hard. I just
That was pretty fucking good.
I stopped drawing birds.
Brian will do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll just reach into you and just take something away.
Oh, that I didn't know it was going to hit so hard, but then as it came out, I was like, "This is cruel, Brian. Finish the sentence and just move on." That's one of our best ofs. I think it's just called Niamh's Bird Book or something like that. You'll understand the context. Then for me, it's Rendale. Hello, Jeremy, Byron, and Nina. I'm sure 2020 is going to be an excellent year.
You know what? It had some issues.
That was written or typed on the 27th of December 2019.
Oh, we probably
man.
thought that too.
Yeah, it started off great. Niamh, what's your loot drop?
My loot drop is Hollywood's Gay China Problem by James Somerton. And this is about if you might see stuff about like Marvel movies not having any gay characters and no gay representation. And in the comments, you might see someone say, it's because of China. And this video is how that isn't true.
Oh.
Basically. James Somerton does great videos about gay representation and stuff. And he's a smart guy who's done a lot of research about this. And it's just a really interesting video. It's a good video.
Yeah.
My loot drop. I'm just gonna drop the trailers, just the channel for Dungeons and Fighters, because I have watched these trailers so many times and I'm so excited. If you have any interest in fighting game or just fun characters, check this out.
Then I have a YouTube channel called Matt KC. He does console repairs. He buys junk consoles for very little money and repairs them and figures out what went wrong with them and finds the missing component and heals them back to full capacity. This one in particular is buying a $3 GameCube from Japan.
Cool. Another one real quick. Someone did a really amazing fan animation of Third Strike. They basically just did their own Third Strike intro.
Oh, I saw that
Yeah,
today. It's
And
really
it's,
cool.
it's rad. It's great.
People are so talented.
Aren't they?
When I'm sad, I just like thinking, it's just like, it's cool. I can just log on to Twitter and see amazing art from amazing people. It's nice.
It is. It's really fun.
It's also a lot of awful shit, but hey.
Oh my, it's a nightmare. It's just, I just can't do. I tweeted something the other day and it started blowing up more than I meant it. And for no reason, just fucking delete it because I just don't want that. Just fuck off. No.
It's like you make a joke, but someone at the back of the bus overhears it and you're like, no.
Yeah.
It's been...
It's like, I cared about this 2 hours ago and you're still replying to it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. Like, do you know my thing? I was like, it wasn't even that funny. It's like, I don't want notes for this.
Nah. But you know what is funny? Maybe this podcast, I don't know. Did you have a good time?
I laughed a couple of times for sure. Yeah, I had a great time. I always like hanging out with you two, as much as it pains me sometimes.
That's okay. So once again, this is our last regular episode for the year. It's not our last episode for the year. At the very end of December,
You know what's coming.
the game of the year.
The Game Awards.
I had a rough count there of the total games we played this year. Now, some of them, so like the way Game of the Year works is that it goes from December 2020 to December 21, approximately. So it's 13 months, not 12
Sure.
months. And
the cutoff is December 7th, we agreed?
yeah, in around
I
then.
think so, yeah.
No. No. No.
I think any game after that, Niamh, we're not really going to be able to give it a proper shake, you know. It's
December
just-
10th is the cutoff.
Thank you.
It starts from November 29th, 2020 to December 10th, 2021.
How many games we got?
I did a rough count there, and it is approximately 67 games.
Oh my fucking god!
How?
Oh,
Now, some of those are HD remasters, and some of those are games combined into one because it was easier, but approximately 67 games.
I guess we were in a pandemic.
It's true.
If you've never listened to our Game of the Year, it's the most popular episode we do every year. It is a fucking train wreck. It is a complete disaster. We fight and we claw and we scratch like little baby chimps to get our way. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, we're usually all pretty happy we did it.
Yeah. And along the way, we pause for an hour and we order food in advance and we eat the food.
Yeah.
And that recharges us. And
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
So yeah, join us for that. That's going to do it. For
Get all
another-
your Christmas shopping done. That's my warning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You gotta do it.
got to do it.
I hope you were browsing websites or actually physically in a shop while listening to this podcast. You could do both.
You could do both.
Maybe stay at home because numbers are high. Just take care.
Never take care, everyone. Because you never know what might happen. Patreon.com/LFAB.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.